Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 390 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. Joining us, finally, is Mr. Daffin Moody.
We're 30 minutes late, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get straight into the news right now. Wow, 95% studios are working on live service games. Fuck them. Microsoft are going crazy. Fuck them. PlayStation Handheld, hell yes. Unions, yes. And everything.
If you don't mind, just before that, we're also joined.
Sorry, and awesome Vitz 12's here as well, everybody.
What's good, gamers?
Just if you don't mind.
That right there was the 3-star champ himself, David Moody.
I think I've got more grey hairs now to all of that.
AB, how are you, my friend?
You know what? I'm pretty good. I finished a video game, a whole ass video game today.
You sure did.
I made a drink of juice, and there was very little juice left in the bottle.
Oh, okay.
So it's mostly water with the slight hint of orange. It's not good. It's not great. I'm not gonna lie. It's not. Don't know about this one.
But for those listening on audio devices, AB's about to put the proverbial napkin on that one.
I think I might just maybe we'll just
push that over the side there, out the way.
Get that not too far over the side, obviously. Otherwise, then I'll be having technical issues.
We don't talk about them.
How are my peeps? How's my fam? How's the podcast going?
You're doing good in a world that seems to be on fire. We're still getting Final Fantasy news, and some video games are cool, and other things are less cool. But yes, it's been a week.
It's been a whole week.
Yeah. It has been a week indeed. There's no doubt about it. Iceland is on fire again. The volcano's blowing up again. Our PM is a transphobe. Great, so which we already knew about.
Yeah, that was a news.
Well, yeah.
What?
More layoffs. Microsoft went crazy.
I remember. Oh, we're gonna get into this shit later.
I should have said Xbox fan nerds went crazy.
There it is. I remember thinking after last week's podcast, like, oh man, that Suicide Squad stuff, man, that was ridiculous. But you know what? It's over now.
Xbox fanboys went.
We can chill.
My beer.
We can't chill.
But good news, Liz Truss is back with popular conservatism.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck?
I saw Politics Joe put out a video of someone's dancing with her. It's so bad. It's just like, why? How did you get this? Because how they let you in? Because they don't like you, Politics Joe. Like, at all.
For those of you in listener land with a short memory, this is the former PM of the UK who was outlasted by a head of lettuce.
Well, lettuce is still going, I heard.
It's waiting.
Coming up with better policies.
It's seen Rishi, it's seen Keith, and it's like, you know what? If I just throw my hat in the ring,
there you go.
I'm a shoo-in.
I'm not gonna lie. I think the UK is so sick of the whole thing right now. I think they would be like, you know what? Why not? Let's fucking do it. Let's put a lettuce in charge.
Can't be worse.
What could be worse? Because it's already on fire.
Look, right. If I and this is gonna sound like I'm just doing my usual jokey, sarcastic Amy, but if I went to the vote and my 3 choices were Rishi Sunak, Keith Starmer, and a literal head of lettuce, I'd vote for the head of lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody put some googly eyes on it, like
one of them's upside down.
From that film that won the Oscar last year. Because they had rocks, didn't they, with googly eyes on them?
Oh, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, that's the name.
That was
the one where the guy literally jumped on a giant dildo.
He did.
To turn himself into a karate kung fu master, which is
then gave himself paper cuts, and that was the only scene I couldn't watch. I had to turn away from.
That's the only scene. I was watching that scene. I was like, and then he was just like, duh, duh, and I was like, oh, is he? Oh, he is.
Short round back, baby.
And I'm like,
Never lost a step.
never lost that. I think he gained a few steps. Still got beat by like the best woman. So
It's always good.
yeah, I was gonna, yeah, no doubt about it. But yeah, it was funny.
Video games, eh?
Video games
What a
indeed.
concept.
Video games indeed.
What a
Insane.
concept. Like I said, I
Insane.
finished the whole last video game. Dude.
There you go.
You did. You
Didn't
did.
cry.
Fantastic. Well done.
Didn't cry. Mostly.
I haven't finished yet.
I figured. It's fine. I wasn't going to do a thing on it this week anyway. Because
I didn't think you were.
I only finished it.
We got a lot.
I only finished it a few hours ago. I'm like, I need to collect my thoughts here.
Yeah, you need to decompress, right?
I need to like decompress.
And what's the best way of that then? Recording
Well,
a
that's a good
podcast
sign, though. I'm hoping that for me is a good sign as well, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
yeah, that's fantastic.
I'll tell you my story because I said in Discord chat I had a funny story because I unlocked all of the life links.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I unlocked all of the life links. And I'm not gonna like explain how the mechanics of it work like in any detail, but they're like, as Moody probably knows, they're like short side quests for Kiryu, and you unlock them by leveling Kiryu's 3 stats up, and you do that by just doing all sorts of shit. And there's 9, and I was on 8. I'd unlocked 8, and I was trying to unlock the 9th one before I finished the game, but I was like running out of ways to do it. To like level Kiryu's stuff up, so I like ran around all the towns and I did all the beat up all the people, and like still didn't have enough. And so I was like, right, let me go into the challenges and like see what I can do really quickly, like to just like gain soul points or body points or whatever. And the first one was like, all right, yeah, cool, just take pictures. Not of anything specific, just take pictures. So I spent 15 minutes wandering around, just spamming the camera. So my PS apps folder is now just full of like random pictures. So I got that.
Actual screenshots, right? Okay.
Yeah, because it takes it. So you take pictures on the phone in game, and it saves them as actual screenshots.
Awesome.
Which I didn't realize. But then I was like, I'm still short. Shit, what can I do? Like, and again, it's like, what can I do quickly? Because I just want to get this like out of the way. And then I was like, oh, there's like loads of challenges for eating every food item on the menu of each individual restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fucking mint. That's sick. I am overburdened with more cash than I'll ever be able to spend in this game. So I'll just quickly like fast travel around and go into the restaurants and order everything on the menu.
Yeah.
I was doing that, and then boom, did it. Lifelink unlocked. So I went straight from the last food place, to the lifelink, and I was like, yes, I want to see this because I'm really invested in Kiryu's story. So we did it. It's the last one, so it's very emotional, and then it's very dramatic, and then it starts like there's a fight partway through.
When is there not a fight?
Yeah, there's always a fight, but like there's this big climactic fight halfway through, and it goes into the fight, and then I realized I went straight from the last food place to the lifelink, and the last place I'd gone to, where I'd ordered everything on the menu, was a bar.
You were drunk.
So the fight started, and my party is lit up like fucking Christmas lights. So you got all these guys in suits being like, "Whoa, we're gonna kick your ass," and then it just cuts to like I think Psycho, and she's just like,
3 drunken masters right here.
Can't do anything. Too drunk, can't do anything. And I was just like, oh fuck. So I had to work through like 3 turns before everybody's drunken state wore off, and I'm like, this is supposed to be like the climax of Kiryu's like entire like side chain quest, and I couldn't stop laughing. Everybody's just
and by the end of it, she was crying by the end.
I was.
Those emotional tears or laughing tears.
I was. It was very sad.
Let's go.
It was very cool. I enjoyed it, but I just thought like, what a moment. And to be honest, it's not even out of character for the game.
It really isn't.
For something like that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Like all I'll say is for me, it's like I'm loving what I've played so far. Like the character, like characters really do drive a story, and like that's why I love single player games to the high heavens compared to multiplayer games. You can have fun with multiplayer games, but characters drive it, and the characters in this game are just absolutely incredibly well written. Over the top like crazy. Like I said last week, it is an anime. You are playing an anime, and it's fantastic for it. I can appreciate if people are like, if you're not an anime fan and it maybe doesn't work for you, I can understand that because it can literally sometimes be a little too anime. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's so fun, and my aim is to complete it over the weekend, and then we can have a proper chat next week.
Yeah, that's cool. Like the other reason as well, like, apart from needing to decompress, was like, I want to have a proper like chat with you about the game, and I knew you hadn't finished it, so you would have told us.
And it's also like the internet decided to go crazy this week in all the stories. So if we had it completed,
let's qualify that. It went extra crazy this week.
Yeah. And we're not even at the middle of February yet.
I'll drink to that.
There you go.
The fucking year. It's been just absolutely crazy and stupid, and more crazy and more stupider.
Yeah.
Stupid is not even a word, people. Like, seriously, that's how stupid this has been.
We're making up words just to describe how stupid it's been.
All words are made up.
They are.
What's that from? All words are made up, dickhead. That's from the Suicide Squad film.
Was it?
Yes.
I remember that from Endgame, I think.
From Infinity War 4. When he beats the Guardians for the first time.
In the full irony. Like, yeah, no, because I heard it in that Australian accent. All words are made
Captain
up,
Boomerang.
dickhead. And I was like, it's Captain Boomerang. Yeah. The
one scene from the game
Suicide Squad film, not the bad Suicide Squad film.
Well, the bad Suicide game.
So the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Okay. The one that people like but didn't go and see because it was still doing a pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it at home.
So did I. Sorry. I watch my movies at home these days because cinemas don't feel safe.
Yeah. The last time I went to the cinema was with you.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Into the
and then before that for me would be
the Spider-Verse.
Around the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. And then before that for me was Avatar. The Way of Water.
Nice. Can't even think of the last time I went before that. It was probably when I did those 3 films in one day. That was a fun day.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, movie. Spider-Man, and The Matrix.
So a horror movie, I was right.
Ghostbusters. Surprisingly.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, obviously.
I need some help. I need some help. I posted this on Bluesky. I don't know if Vitz has already seen it, but I need some help because I've finished Like a Dragon. It's 3 weeks till Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
My brain is currently, and I'll read the post up. My brain is currently trying to do the gamer maths on whether or not I have time to finish Persona 3 Reload before February 29th.
You did.
I put 82.
Persona 5. Royal.
Shut up. All right. Look, typos happen. All right. There's no edit button.
Shut up, Vitz. Stay out of this. So
no, I actually posted Persona 5 Reload, and then I had to add an extra post that was like, oh, yeah, I can't fucking do maths, numbers either. 3 weeks today. But so I did.
It comes out the 29th.
Yeah, I did Infinite Wealth in 2 weeks. So
what does How Long to Beat say?
Between 50 and 70 hours.
Oish, that's a.
I did 82. I mean, I put 82 in. Like, according to my PS5, I played Like Dragon Infinite Wealth for 82 hours, which means I averaged 41 hours a week. Which means I played that game. I played that game longer than I worked.
The biggest thing would be is like you're going back to back to back, potentially doing massive JRPGs, which is a massive intake of doing stuff for
weeb shit.
You know? Yeah, weeb shit. Like, why would you burn yourself out?
So I thought about this. Maybe like if I started playing Persona 3 maybe I'd burn myself out. But the secret weapon to this is the game at the end of this is Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
Like, there's no way I'm not going to be down for that.
The ultimate weeb shit.
There's no way I'm not going to be down for Final Fantasy VII on February 29th. I've got that weekend off. Specifically Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you probably could do it. No
they gave us an extra day in the year so we can play this game.
So you don't know this because I haven't said anything about it. So I've been like keeping an eye on your trophies for a while on like a dragon. So I was like keeping an eye. And I was thinking, no. We were neck and neck for a while.
We were, yeah.
And then I was off it for like 2 days.
And then we did the afterburners.
And then Amy was like 3% ahead of me. So I was like, okay, let's catch up. I can do this type of thing.
Then I had 4 days off in a row.
And then she had 4 days off in a row. And I'm just like, well, never mind.
By the end of...
I'm not a trophy person whatsoever, but I just thought it was like, it kind of kept me going, like, again, to kind of keep up with her in some sort of way. And now I'm just like, I'll just play it on my own piss.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about because I was keeping an eye on your trophies as well. Just so I didn't spoil anything for you. Like if I was like texting you like, "Fuck, did you see this?" Like when we talked about it last week, and I said the thing at the end of chapter 3. I said that because I knew you'd done it, and we were neck and neck. When I started my 4 days off, and then at the end of my 4 days off, I was like, "Cool, I'm on the last chapter." Like that's it. I've just got one more chapter to do.
For context, is this a game that you'll chase the platinum for? Do you have the platinum already, or okay?
No, you've got to do all the fake Pokemon stuff, and all the fake Animal Crossing stuff, and I'm just like, no,
okay,
I'm good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I have no interest in either of those.
Like this,
fair play to the people who are and everything.
Yeah,
but yeah, I have no interest in it.
I've done a lot. We'll talk about it next week, but I've done a lot of the side stuff. Like more than I normally would in an open world RPG like this, but yeah, like I've finished the story and I'm good.
Yeah,
like I've got no interest in like finishing the dungeons or like going back and doing the Pokemon thing. It's like no, I got what I wanted out of this game.
Yeah, you're saving your 100% playthrough skills for Rebirth. We get it.
I don't even. I might.
No,
we'll talk about it.
To be fair. Yeah, we will do.
The last remake?
No.
So yeah, you're not going to platinum.
No, I don't really platinum games that much.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't.
I think
they just come out of nowhere for you without realizing you've done them.
That's the best kind of trophy list, where it just happens organically.
No, I think half.
Yeah, they're called Walking Dead ones.
Telltale
Walking Dead ones. Yeah, Telltale games.
No, I think most of my, I think at least half of, I think me and Moody sat down and worked it out once. I think half of my platinums, I think, are just for videos, like where I've been making videos and I've platinumed the games. One is Apex, that was what we did when we were in lockdown.
And we would never stop playing it. Yeah.
We never stopped playing it. And then there's a couple of them where it's just like, it is like that automatic thing. Like I have Job Simulators Platinum because I played the game.
Yeah.
And that's just how that game works. I don't know how many Platinums I've actually gone out of my way to go and get, like, without like making video essays for or whatever. But no. I tend to find trying to like do the platinum grind on most games like kind of ruins the games for me. Like I know Moody was surprised when I put God of War Ragnarok at number 10 on my Game of the Year list, and I genuinely think it was lower than it would have been if I hadn't have platinumed
it. So you lowered it even more because you platinumed the fucker.
I just think I got sick of it, but I was so close. I was like, I'm not going to be defeated by this. And obviously, I was trying to distract myself from other stuff that was going on. But I think I would have enjoyed the game far more if I hadn't have been like, I'm going to unlock everything. This is a terrible idea.
Yeah, I used to like do the trophies thing, like, but then I was just like, no, can't be bothered. I really can't be bothered. It was just like, I played to like people who do it, like when you see like Greg's like one of them out platinums, like when you come out Vitz, like say platinum, when you platinum Spider-Man 2, didn't you? I think you said. Yeah,
and I recently popped the auto popped the one for Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah,
because we got the PS4 one. But yeah, like I'm only on 15 plats myself, and for me to go after a platinum, it's all about whether the trophy list is respecting your time more than anything else. Like for some of them, like some of the racing games, like Dirt 5 comes to mind. It wanted you to race 10,000 miles in game, and then they patched it so it's 1,000 miles in game. But even so, there isn't enough content at launch to cover that in like anything reasonable. But like just this was like height of pandemic of just doing races while on party chat and jumping in between like games of Fall Guys and doing that. We managed to knock that out, but again, that wasn't fun to do. But yeah, like Insomniac are usually great with their trophy lists, and then recently Naughty Dog have been quite stellar at those as well.
My peak is 21 platinums. That's how many platinums I've got.
Nice.
And then I stopped. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I think half of them are like Telltale games. Played them on PS3, got them on PS4. Why the hell not? I like those games. I want to cry again. Why the hell not? Let's do this.
Respect. I got 4.
I know my first one I've said like was Mass Effect 2. Like I tried on that one. I won't lie, because I was like really into Mass Effect at that time. I still am now, but like then I was just like full on. Like had a mate of mine. He was helping me with it and everything. And it was just like because he already like did the insanity because there's an insanity trophy on it. And I was just like, all right, we're gonna do this. And then we figured out. Just have snipers. Have snipers. They are the best. They don't run out of fucking ammo. Garrus!
Universal clips,
Legion!
Right?
Finn!
Sorry, Amy, were you saying you got 4? That's plenty. Yeah. There you go. That's all you ever need.
Name them.
That's all you need.
Job Simulator, Control, Spider-Man, and God of War Ragnarok.
There you go.
And the only one she really cares about is Control.
That was the only one I enjoyed.
Yeah, the Spider-Man one just came out of nowhere. You didn't realize you actually did it?
I was ill. No, I wasn't ill. I had insomnia. I couldn't sleep. You
had insomnia for an Insomniac game.
I did,
yeah. There you go.
I had insomnia for like 3 nights, and I just stayed up and played Spider-Man for 3 nights. And platinumed it.
I don't want to imagine what your eyes felt like.
I don't remember. It was a blur. it was a bit of a blur. Like I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't if I could have slept, I would have just slept.
So that's why you didn't enjoy it, because you just can't remember it.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did enjoy it. Who knows?
You swing around New York.
You finally slept. And you were like, wait, what? I got the platinum?
Yeah, do this? I finally slept. Like it was like Spider-Man. I played Spider-Man.
Wait, I platinumed this sucker? What the hell?
Coming out of a haze like Green Goblin.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I think about going back to get Bloodborne Platinum every now and again, because that one seems like it will be fun to actually do. But then I remember that's a lot of Bloodborne, and you got to be in the mood for that kind of game.
And maybe if PlayStation ever announced the remake of it, you'll go back to it and try and platinum it.
No. What'll happen is they'll announce the remake of it. And I'll be like, yeah, Bloodborne remake, and then they'll be like, that'll be £70, please. And I'll be like, it's alright, I've got Bloodborne at home.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who really needs 60 frames a second? It's fine at 30.
It is fine at 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is the thing about it. I'm sick of. I won't lie. Yeah, I know. Like me and Amy joke, especially how I am whenever. Like I'm always with my new TV. I'm like, 4K, it's 4K, Amy, it's 4K, it's 4K. I can see these in 4K and everything like that. It's more just I think I just act like a pillock all the time for it, but it always makes me laugh inside. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck between 60 or 30 frames or 4K or anything like that. I really don't give a flying hoot as long as it works. It's not glitchy, and the story is good.
And it's consistent.
That's all I care about. Like, gameplay can be the shittest gameplay in the world as long as if characters carry me along. I'm fine with this.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with that part, but yeah, like with the frame rate thing, it's just like, I mean, Bloodborne's my favorite game of all time. It's not going to get any better just because it runs at 60 frames a second. They tried that with a mod, and it turns out the game speed is tied to the frame rate. So the game just gets twice as fast. It looks ridiculous.
Maybe that's why they haven't done that. Haven't done that so far. Then
probably.
My funniest the game speed is tied to frame rate experiences when I try to play the original Deus Ex on my current modern computer, and the game speed is tied to the frame rate because it's a game from the year 2000. The frame rate was like 300 frames a second. And I was like, ah! I was like, this is what playing the Flash would feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, you couldn't even jump. You couldn't even jump over a gap. You couldn't time it with how fast you were moving. It was really funny. There's a pad.
Amazing.
So it's one of the only times I've ever downloaded a mod which is something to specifically slow the game down.
Praise be the Nexus mod.
Here's a frame rate limit, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Do you think when it's the year 3000, we'll still be asking the question, have we felt the benefits of Brexit yet?
I'm not gonna lie.
3,000.
I thought we were still going to be arguing over 60 frames a second.
I don't know. My brain just went there. I was like,
that'll be the latest like PMQ.
Throw it out there. I'm just going to throw that into the water and see what happens.
Let's ask the less.
There you go.
Let's do video
He'll
games.
still be Prime Minister, I bet.
Probably. I knew we shouldn't have voted for that lettuce. Damn dictator.
There you go.
Who knew the lettuce was a fascist?
Should have read the label more closely.
Underneath, fascist, sent by Russia. Sent by Putin.
All right, we got a lot of shit.
Talk some video games. Yeah.
Best friend is Trump. Wait, what? I thought you meant Trump the snooker player, not Trump the fucking asshole. What the hell?
Trump the snooker player, that's a ball.
Can we start with the Last of Us and not Xbox?
Yes.
Yes, I would prefer that.
Because I would prefer that, because I don't...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, friends, we're talking about Grounded 2, The Making of The Last of Us Part 2. This was a documentary included in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which is on PS5, but they also kindly thought to upload this onto YouTube as well.
Which meant that Amy watched it.
Yes.
Huzzah!
We all did, yeah.
We kind of needed to, because me and Vitz were like,
I mean, look, right, remember last week? Oh, the state of play. Like, what was the first thing I said?
There was a state of play.
Someone's going to have to tell me what happened. Because I didn't watch that son of a bitch.
Yeah, but I knew you were going to watch this.
I watched this week's state of play. But yes, Grounded 2.
Oh, I bet you did.
Oh, you damn right I did. I watched it twice.
I needed a disco nap because it was on like 11:30.
I was watching it on the bus the next morning.
I was too busy at work, and I couldn't. And my boss was over my shoulder, and I couldn't watch the state of direct.
Boo! Boo!
Yeah. Blame my boss.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff in this documentary. It was a fun watch. I always like video game documentaries because I just like I like that sort of behind the scenes, behind the magic kind of thing.
No, the BioWare magic.
When I heard the words,
Too soon.
When I heard the words "Naughty Dog Magic" come out of Neil Druckmann's mouth in this documentary, I was like, I took psychic damage. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm amazed your TV survived.
I feel like there was two moments.
That wisdom saving throw.
There was two moments because they recorded this throughout the production. So like they were talking in like 20 whatever it was, like 14, 15 or whatever, and this one guy was like, "Yeah, we don't have producers." Like even if I didn't know where this story was going, like I would have known where this story was going as soon as they were like, "Yeah, we don't have producers." And then Druckmann's like, "Yeah, it's like that Naughty Dog magic," and it's just like, change the record. I've heard this one before.
Yeah. But they may have learned their lesson.
I hope so.
But anyway, I just want to say what I said on the Discord. Like this is, if not it is easily one of the best, but if not, might be the best video game documentary that I've watched. I thought it was absolutely incredible. The Grounded one was incredible. The God of War one was an incredible one as well. And I even like
Raising Kratos is a must watch as well.
Yeah, the For Honor one from Ubisoft about the For Honor game, that was really good. I was very surprised, thinking, this is really good. Oh, you poor guy, they got rid of you. What a surprise. By the end of it. But yeah, that was a really good one as well. But yeah, this was just absolutely incredible. And like we've all 2020 was obviously an insane fucking year for all of us and everything, for the pandemic alone. And then you take into consideration of like game developers of like what they had to go through for this as well. But like I think I might have like just watched this whole documentary just completely reopened everything, like what this team went through when the leaks came out, the abuse that they got, the death threats and everything was just insane to think. And then like what we was like you and Vitz were talking about, to see the reason why the person who leaked it, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me.
It's completely asinine, and
Yeah.
it's one of these things where, of course, like this being a video game documentary goes through some sort of editing process, but it is brutally honest. At least that's my takeaway of it as well. And that there's very little left on the table, and much like the Last of Us Part 2 itself, it doesn't seem to pull any punches. And they are frank about the challenges that they faced and the pitfalls that they landed themselves in. And to your point, Amy, about him bragging at the start, saying we've got no producers, kind of thing. You all knew it was going to bite you in the ass at the end, kind of thing.
That's going to work out for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I implore all of you, if you haven't had a chance to watch Grounded 2 yet, I would. I believe it's 2 hours long. But yeah, it is a special piece of content. And to Moody's point about just the heartache that they go through of the leaks just before the game is set to come out, and the confusion that's happening because these cutscenes are being viewed without the context of the game and all the rest of it, and how Neil is doing his best to care for their lead actors and things like that. And that clip of Laura Bailey will stay with me forever, kind of thing. And when the game came out and they were doing the rounds of spoiler cast with all the different news outlets and things, so Laura was up front and then saying like how tough it was, but seeing it here, like in 2024, it just hit home again, and it shows that we haven't got any better as a society, and we absolutely need to.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Like it is insane when you hear anything that over just a piece of medium at the end of the day. I can appreciate like you're connected to these characters, you're connected to any type of medium and everything like that. But as soon as you cross a line of threats and abuse towards the people who have worked on the content or the game or whatever, you cross a line and you cannot go back on that line whatsoever, because you have turned yourself into a person who is a despicable person and everything. Like Laura had a child during all of this and everything, and like she put in an incredible performance in this game. Like the game,
an award-winning performance, absolutely.
An award-winning performance, yeah, and she deserved that award.
I do remember gloating on Twitter about
Yes,
when Laura Bailey won that game award. I was just like, fucking, I was not graceful.
Yeah, but it's like, I loved how when they were talking about the game and everything and its conception and everything, and how it worked, how it all came together and everything. I loved like how they had a different way of how Ellie met. Well, I just want to say, we're going to be spoilers here. I think we want to say
we've done a spoiler cast before. Like
we've done spoiler the cast and everything like that. But just so you know, there's also a little bit spoilers on the game, on the Grounded documentary here. Like they had a different way of Ellie finding Joel's body and everything, and I'm a little bit thinking, I kind of wish I had that. I kind of wish I would have saw it, because I think that would have been incredible. Because you're going down, just how they were picturing it, you're going down these stairs. We all know what's happened and everything. We all know what's happened and everything. But there's no one that she's like, she won't know, and she's praying to God and everything. But the other one also hits home as well. The other one hits home brilliant as well, I think, especially with what they were going for in the game, and I think it works incredibly well still. This is incredible. So
it also gives some faces and names that you may not know in the studio a chance to shine. One that stands out to me is the lead writer, Hallie Gross, and they are a little superstar, and she pops off on this.
She's amazing, yeah. But also, I think this documentary opens up the light of so much misinformation that even can come from a lot of big websites out there, like the one that I put at the bottom, like Last of Us 3, obviously, we know was kind of going to be in the works. We'll be very surprised. But going from this documentary, he's just started thinking about it last year.
Yeah.
Which is like he's had like an idea, and when he said that, everyone automatically just thought Last of Us 3 is already written, blah blah blah, which obviously is wrong.
There's
like,
a concept at the moment. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we've reported and talked about that, and basically, I don't know if it was when you were here, Vitz, but I'm pretty sure, like me and him, we were just like, of course, The Last of Us Part 3 is at least got a script and everything. Like, that's not a surprise and everything for that.
I think it was like, of course, there's going to be a third game.
Yeah, type of thing, and it
did
to see like
after watching the documentary. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Just after watching the documentary, it did annoy me a little bit that like all of the takeaways from all of the different websites and social media, like for this entire like really interesting documentary that touches on a lot of really cool points, was The Last of Us Part 3 is coming. It's just like, okay, but like let's talk about the other stuff.
That's not the lesson you to take away from this.
Like,
that kind of
there's some cool other stuff we could talk about. That wasn't like cut you off and that was just like that was one of my impressions, because I saw the documentary. I only watched it yesterday, so like I saw all of the headlines for it, and all of the headlines were, "You confirmed The Last of Us Part 3." And I was like, that was like that might have been the least interesting part of the documentary for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree. The only part of what was interesting for me was like more misinformation of like, you know what I mean? Like I was stating, and like again, it's just like misinformation going overboard and whatnot.
We're going to talk about that shortly. I have words to say.
Yeah. But I think it also like it leads into what we're going to be talking about with the Xbox thing and everything like that, or fans going off a lot of information and not knowing the facts and everything, because we don't even know the facts when we get to the Xbox
taking facts,
thing.
Taking rumors as gospel and just running with it.
Yeah, and that's what it is, and it's the same for this one and everything like that. It's absolutely insane, and like I can see why it's just like why a lot of companies, especially like PlayStation, are like, yeah, we're not gonna talk. We'll talk when we want to talk. You can just stay out of it. We do not care. You are already buying our product.
Yeah.
So
one of the harrowing and what would lead into something beautiful about this documentary is when they talk about crunch specifically, and how they talk about, so at the beginning of when we first started going, we used to provide dinners in for the team kind of thing, and they'd be in their cafeteria, that they'd lay out a meal kind of thing, and like watching it, that's a veiled way of saying you're supposed to stay at work and have this meal and then go back to your desk and keep on working kind of thing. And then they go to great lengths to say, okay, well, we've changed the culture and the approach in terms of we are not going to aim for any crunch whatsoever. And there are PlayStation studios which claim to do this. I don't know, as a matter of fact, if they do. So Insomniac is one that they have like a zero crunch culture, but they now have a raft of producers, and they have procedures in place to make sure that people have a sustainable amount of workload going through, and they don't do evening meals anymore, even though that might be handy for those who live in like low income areas and what have you, but they don't do it in the sense of, we expect you to stay and crunch and work on the game past normal working hours, that kind of thing. So I hope beyond hope that these things actually work in the way that they're supposed to, because we hear stories like how tortured the team over at CD Projekt Red were when they're making Cyberpunk, and how much they were crunching to do that. And I can imagine it was just as bad, if not worse, as what the team went through at Naughty Dog. And you can see the light leave these people's eyes when they were interviewing them like many months into production and saying, we've got to get this E3 demo out, and we got to crunch it. We've got to work like all the hours in the weekend and somehow find some more kind of thing. But they owned up to the fact that they dropped the ball in many a sense, and they need to do better at looking after the people there. And I hope beyond hope that they follow through with that.
There's no doubt about it. It sucks that they've done this. This has had to happen for them to realize that. There's no doubt about it. This is something that should be already instinctive of this, like, don't run your team into the fucking ground. Don't do this at all. Yeah. It's like you're gonna hurt them and everything. And hopefully whatever they are doing at that Naughty Dog, this is now all implemented in place, and they are now taking their time for whatever new game, whatever, if it's the new game they're going to do, what is rumored, or it is The Last of Us Part 3, whatever. Like, take your time, don't rush yourselves. Because
there's enough video games for people to play. Take all the time that you need.
Also, one of the biggest things that I took out from it is like they were talking about. Like, we all know, like, The Last of Us Part 2 is much bigger than The Last of Us Part 1. And, like, they talked about that all the time throughout this documentary, and it kind of makes me think, whatever their next game is going to be smaller. It's going to be like the Last of Us height size, not The Last of Us Part 2. As much as I love The Last of Us Part 2, I adore that game. I think it is absolute perfection. I stated when I finished that game, this game, if this was a film, would get all the Oscar nominations and probably win most of the fuckers. I stated that when I finished it. I absolutely adore this game. It broke me inside, but also made me feel things that I never thought I would feel and everything, which is
100%
fantastic and whatnot. But I don't, like, I've stated on many occasions, like last year, my favorite game was an hour and a half game.
Yep.
My favorite game was an hour and a half game, which I think, yours was an 80-hour game, maybe.
Mine was 80, and you said, oh, they're going to make Last of Us 3 shorter, and my reaction was to go, please let them do it, please.
There's no doubt about it. But that's the thing, that's made that type, what you've just said for like the 8 hours you put into Baldur's Gate 3, that is daunting to me. Even though I'm playing like a dragon right now, and I'm playing a lot of hours, I think I'm like at 30 plus hours right now into that. I'm having great fun, which is great and everything like that. But I'm also like, I kind of wish I was done.
I think games, just like, I mean, we've talked about this multiple times about games, but it's like games, like The Last of Us Part 2 was too long for me. I can see very clearly now 4 years, 3.5 years since playing it. Like, I can see clearly the parts where it's like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like that was probably a bit too big, or this part was probably like, but like, what? That's not what we're here talking about.
Much of the Santa Barbara section could go for me in terms of introducing the rattlers and all the rest.
And the big exploration bit, it just. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Like, I think The Last of Us Part 3 being like the length of The Last of Us Part 1.
We don't know. I just want to say that as a speculation.
Like, as a thing, like, for me, I'd be like, that's awesome. Like, The Last of Us was like the perfect length.
like I loved Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok, but even I was like, this is a little long. This is dragging.
It is,
Kind of get to the Ragnarok part, please.
Yeah, whereas like I played 80 hours of Like a Dragon, and it's like, because that game's story was constantly like throwing out the twists, I wanted to see it, and like 25 hours of that playtime was me going off to do something else that I wanted to do. That wasn't the golden path, but like the idea of it being like a Bloodborne-esque world, like interconnected world, I was like, god damn, that would have been so much better.
And all melee, that was like very intriguing. Like, for me personally, I'll just say this, I'm glad they didn't do that.
I'm very glad they didn't do that.
For you,
the melee thing, no, like Naughty Dog trying to make a Bloodborne-esque melee game, like, no, that wouldn't have ended well. But like the idea of that hub world that they had that you explored for no reason, like branching off into like all of the different places that you go, and then you like come back through it, and then you go to the next place, and I don't know why I'm doing all these but like, that like when he said that in the documentary, I was like, fuck, that would have been cool.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But it was what was interesting to me about watching the documentary was like the remembering all of this stuff. Because like I think this might like be the first documentary about a game whose development I followed all the way through from like start to finish. Yeah, and also had like podcasts. That's interesting. And stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, like I was talking to Vitz just before we started when Moody was having his tech problems. Like the Paris Games Week thing where they brought up the trailer, which was the Abby getting lynched trailer.
Yeah, this is the Clipper Wings section.
And like it was a part of the documentary where the writer Hallie Gross was like popping off, and I was just like, fucking yeah, because as soon as they flashed the article up on the thing, I remember the article, and I remember talking about it on the podcast with Keith, and just being like a similar sort of sentiment where it's just like, yeah, it's contextless violence. It's like, yeah, it's a trailer. Trailers are contextless. That's the point of the trailer.
Also, do a bit of journalism, just a little bit.
Yeah, I do remember getting really agitated by that like string of rhetorical questions at the time, which was like, "Oh, did any women work on this?" And I was just like, "I don't know. You're a fucking journalist. Maybe you should find out." And I loved like I think it was 2016 Paris Games Week. So like,
I think so.
What's that, like 8 years later, to finally get that catharsis of someone at Naughty Dog basically said the same thing I did.
Yeah.
Which was a nice, like, cathartic thing. And then obviously, like, when they started going through the leaks and the threats and stuff, obviously, Moody, you remember, you were here for all of that on the podcast, and it was just like, it was a horrible time now to be around. Even just from the outside looking at it and seeing all the YouTube videos and all the bullshit. And it was, what made it worse was like, because I had criticisms of the game myself, but it made it difficult to feel like I could voice those criticisms because the discourse had just flattened the entire like discussion about the game to the point where it's like, I have legitimate criticisms of the game. I still think it's a really good game, but like, I don't want to say them out loud. Because right now, all of the voices who are critical of the game are saying like this shit.
Yes.
And I don't want to go near them other than to say, shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you talking about? And then just to see, obviously, like, you know, the Laura Bailey's reaction, especially to the to like the threats and stuff. It's just like, man, we really learned nothing in the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Sadly, we haven't.
One of the lighter notes I want to touch on is how their approach to accessibility went down, and how I think they're one of the premier studios when it comes to accessibility, and how they had a notion of, don't worry about the costs of how much accessibility is going to do. We'll have those conversations. The leadership will have those conversations with Sony to make sure we've got the money to do that. It's more important right now to make sure that we are speaking to a lot of people with various different abilities, and making sure that everybody else or everybody can play this game, kind of thing, right, regardless of what they can or may not be able to do, kind of thing. And it's I just thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, no, like to see their approach to building the accessibility options. It's like the game was designed from the ground up to be accessible. Like, that's how you do accessibility. You don't tack it on at the end of development where like you're in the last few months and you go, shit, we better make sure we've got all the accessibility options. It's like, no, we started developing them alongside developing the game, and that's why The Last of Us Part 2 has like a fucking bazillion amazing accessibility options.
Yeah.
And that's why basically pretty much most of all Sony exclusives, first party exclusive, basically get that now.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
God of War had them. Horizon 2 had them. Spider-Man had them. Yeah, like they're all getting them now, and it's just like, yeah, that's fantastic. They've took the work that Naughty Dog did, and they've expanded on it to make compatible to their games, which is just absolutely incredible.
Good. Like, I want more of that for sure. Like,
yeah,
just,
there's no doubt about that.
Just to counterpoint that, the accessibility options coming to Spider-Man 2 are coming in the next patch, which I believe is coming in March. So I don't think they were there at launch.
Wait, well, are they not there? Are they not?
No. At least not the full raft of accessibility options that they wanted to launch with.
Yeah, they didn't even put New Game Plus in for people, like, compared to the first one. So
start on New Game Plus.
Yeah.
We'll have that discussion next week. But yeah, no, it was a nice like segment. Weirdly enough, like, and this isn't about Last of Us, this is just a tangent my brain had while I was watching the documentary.
We love a brain tangent here.
I was watching the part where they were doing the accessibility stuff, and it was amazing, like watching the guy who's blind like playing the game, and them going in detail about how they designed that, like, that system.
Is it the Sona thing? Yeah.
They're like, oh, you pings different sounds and all this stuff, and I was like, and my brain was like, oh, this is really good. Like, yeah, like, oh, this is really interesting to learn. man, I should really replay The Veil on Xbox.
I was gonna say, you're gonna say that game, aren't you?
Yeah, I was like, I should really play that game again.
No way, I knew where you were going with that. I knew
like out of nowhere, I was just like, I'm gonna play fucking The Veil, Shadow of the Crown.
Your mind didn't go, oh, this would be really cool for a Daredevil game. Is no, The Veil. So where are we going with this?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we had a funny discussion on a podcast about a Daredevil game. Someone did an April Fool's joke one year, and it was like, oh, Daredevil announced for VR. And we legitimately sat on the podcast and went, but that would be fucking sick, though.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, to walk a mile in somebody's shoes.
You put the headset on, and you see the echolocation shit, and you've got the 3D binaural audio. And I was just like, it's a funny joke, but also I'd play the shit out of that game.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just a weird tangent my brain went over. I was like, I'm gonna play that game. That's a good game.
Fair enough. Where would you like to go next, friends?
Something.
Should we talk about Union?
Relatively quick. Yeah, let's talk about.
I thought it would be best. Wouldn't it have been best, like, to continue with PlayStation to go to handheld?
Well, let's do that then.
Yeah, let's talk about rumors.
Yeah, not run away with them.
Isn't it your favorite person who announced this?
Was it?
It was Jeffrey Grubb, wasn't it?
Jeffrey Grubb getting in the shit swing of it with the fucking Xbox stuff as well, being all like, well, guys, I've actually heard, we'll get to him.
Friends, if this is new to you, we're talking about a rumor that a new PlayStation handheld console is reportedly in the works.
Also, there's apparently a rumor for Xbox as well.
Of course there is. Like, this is the Switch fucking Pro all over again.
Hey, I thought we decided on Super Nintendo Switch.
There's
no. Moody knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that whole fucking year where we had to do 4 separate fucking podcasts about the stupid Switch Pro because Schreier and Grubb would shut the fuck up about it. And the entire time I was sitting here going, it's not happening. I don't know why they keep saying it's happening. Sorry, continue.
No. It's not for me. Take this with a pinch of salt and everything like that, but I'm just like, it's not a surprise if this is actually true, because like there's a ton of big, powerful handhelds out there that are doing really well, and like Nintendo have just proven, here we've got a great handheld. Yeah, weak as shit, but we are the best selling handheld out there, and we're also a console for everybody. This is not a surprise, and PlayStation's last handheld that they just released over the holidays is sold apparently incredibly well. Yeah, I'm still waiting for it to fucker get back in stock so I can buy one. And I think because apparently it's like really good, and so yeah, this is not a surprise if this is actually true and everything like that. Again, don't know. We won't find out for years probably, but yeah, I'm not surprised for this.
For my takeaway of this is obviously the hardware team at Sony PlayStation are going to be R&Ding many different types of devices like this. And it's one of these to see if concepts will work. And then they'll go away and see, okay, what is there enough demand in the marketplace to support a device like this? What is the use case? Can we get enough developers and teams to build software to make this run properly? What is the upside of a remote play device like the Portal and things like that? So I'm sure there are many different devices that are in the skunk works over at PlayStation kind of thing that will never hear the light of day of, and it just happens to be this reputed leaker of all things. Moore's Law is dead. That have popped up the parapet and says, yes, this is a thing. But for sure, if they think that it's a viable option, then I'm sure we'll see it in a few years time, maybe in line with the PS6 launch, something like that. But yeah, more power to them. If it gives more options for more people to play their games and stay in their ecosystem, then I think it can only be a good thing.
Just like Kojima announced the first PlayStation 6 game last week, they're announcing the first PlayStation 6 handheld.
For audio listeners, Amy just died.
That happened years ago. When it comes to these rumors and everything like that,
I just can't. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I actually went back and watched that Death Stranding 2 trailer, and I can now confidently say that I've watched all of the Death Stranding 2 trailers I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
It is a bonkers trailer, no doubt.
I mean, like, the thing about a PlayStation handheld is, do I think? No, I don't. Like, and I was a big fan. I love the Vita. I got one with my PS4.
It means life.
and I love that shit. But like, do I think they're gonna release one? No, I don't see where it fits into their ecosystem. Like there's talk about it being like a PS6 companion device, but like, how expensive is that thing gonna be? Is PlayStation really gonna release two separate pieces of hardware at the same time? Like there's all these questions.
Oh, like they've done that already with the VR. Sorry for putting in there.
No, I mean like literally at the same time. Like I mean like they're bringing out two pieces of hardware to market. The VR headset came later than the console release.
That's fair.
I just don't see where it fits. Like the leaker lid like mentions it's a weaker but portable alternative for the Japanese market, and I can kind of sort of maybe see that like that line of thinking like for the Japanese market, but like as someone like and I just randomly came across like the last week's Japanese software sales for because like someone posted them because Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth was doing really well, and guys saw it and I was like, oh cool. And like PS4 games still outsell PS5 games in Japan, so like I don't like you need to get them upgraded to PS5 first.
Yeah.
I just don't know, I just don't see it. Like I just don't see it.
I think the Japanese market is more handheld these days anyway
really
when it comes
is,
to their stuff. So I don't think PlayStation will be that caring when it comes to that they haven't upgraded to PS5.
Sure.
But going to
Well, as long as you buy the
a
game,
handheld, right? Yeah, and a handheld and a game, then I think a lot of people it'll be perfect for that. But I think also like I think everyone's like hoping that they will go back into the handheld market, and I think like everyone praises the Vita, even though it was vastly underutilized by them and everything like that and whatnot. But like the portable has been an absolutely incredible success for them, and I don't think they expected it. For me personally,
I don't think anyone expected it.
Yeah, I don't think I think that's a fair analogy. None of us really expected it was going to be an incredible success, but I think sometimes we forget how powerful the PlayStation brand is, and it just shows that they are still kicking ass as always, and like release more portables, please. I want to buy one.
I mean, that's the other side.
I do. I won't lie. I'm a schmuck. I want to go give it a go.
That's the other side of the equation for like a PlayStation Vita 2. I'll just call it just for sake of shorthand. It's just like, I mean, we've seen PlayStation release how many like additional hardware options in the last 10, 15 years and completely failed to support any of them properly. And then they've all not really done that well. The Portal's the exception, but the Portal, they can just kind of drop it and go, yep, we're done. Like we did our job. Yeah. It's just a remote play device. So they don't have to release games or like market it or anything like that. It's just like it's a thing. Like if you want it, you can buy it. People do want it, so they have bought it. Like I mean, look at PSVR 2. Like how much like it was dead. It was almost dead on arrival because like it was the case of we're going to definitely support this, and then they just didn't support it. And it's like we had to sit and play with two, admittedly really cool looking games last week, but also like that was it. Like that was all we got.
Yeah, and it's one of these things, especially with the Portal. I think I can see like a Portal Pro or Portal Edge coming out, which has all the back paddle buttons of the Edge with an OLED screen coming out, and people will rebuy that, even though they've got a regular Portal as well. But outside of that, I can't see. I can't see another dedicated handheld device which isn't just a remote play device, which is a niche use case to begin with. But it's to your point kind of thing. It's a niche case which most people are bought in on because it's new and it's shiny and people want the new thing.
But as far as like rumors of Microsoft releasing a handheld, they have one. It's called Your Smartphone.
Yeah, xCloud is everywhere.
Yeah,
across all your devices.
I've played games on it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, they won't release dedicated hardware because their whole point is cloud streaming.
Yeah, it's all ecosystem. It's not about hardware anymore.
Well, that sounds like it's time for an indie game of the week.
It sure does. Hit me with it.
It's halftime, which means I've got to scroll to the bottom because I put it at the bottom now. It's time for indie game of the week, where we talk about a cool looking upcoming indie game that looks cool. Now, normally, I know when it's Steam Next Fest, I do an expanded indie game of the week where I'd like last time me and Moody had good fun with it, where it's like I did all of my game impressions in 20 words or less. And I might do that again next week. I haven't really had a chance to play any demos yet, but maybe. But so for now, it's just a game that I came across that is called Isles of Sea and Sky. Looks very nice. It's a puzzle game. I saw like 16 different fucking games. Is this the one that looks like a bit like Zelda? Oh, I failed horribly. I've seen I looked at so many indie game trailers in the last few days. Like, I was like, which one is this again?
Yeah, solve open world puzzles. Yeah,
it's like a puzzle game that looks like classic Zelda. Yes, it's got the Game Boy Color aesthetic going for it.
Nice. Yeah, immerse yourself in a serene, vibrant world.
Retro-inspired atmosphere while discovering and unleashing extraordinary powers, and gathering collectibles and awakening delightful new friends along the way.
Look at that.
It's one of those puzzle games where, because it's open world, you can, like, if you get stuck, you can just go and do something else somewhere else, which I appreciate because, like, you know, with most video game puzzles, it is one of those things where it's like, if I get stuck and then I leave for a bit and then I come back, all of a sudden I can do the puzzle.
Yeah, that's it.
But like, because I'm stubborn, like, I won't leave the game. Like, so like, Portal was a nightmare for me. Because I'm just like, no,
I'm staying here and I'm
finish this puzzle. But yeah, no, it's called what did I say? It was called Isles of Sea and Sky. I almost called it a different game that's coming out next week. Isles of Sea and Sky. Developed by Cicada Games, published by Cicada Games and Gamma Games. Coming 2024 to Steam. There's a link in the description wherever you're getting this podcast, and you can go and click that link. It'll take you to the Steam page where you can wishlist the game, check out the trailer, read the description, but mostly just wishlist the game. You should wishlist games. Wishlist more games.
You should do.
Everyone should wishlist more games. Except me. My wishlist is too big. I've taken my own advice too far. I think I'm going to make a separate Steam account just to wishlist indie games on.
But what the wish list even more games now?
No, there you go. I'll wishlist all of these indie games on that account, so then I can use my main account's wishlist as an actual wishlist.
Yeah, that's a curated list, right?
Yeah. Like, I need a wish list that tells me when games are going on sale so I can buy them cheap. I don't really have that at the moment.
You're gonna have an indie account, you're gonna have a AA account, you're gonna have a AAA account, which will be pretty small anyway, because you probably won't use it for that. And then you'll have a discount account.
There's no space for AA no more.
There's like 12 Yakuza games I haven't played. I mean, I wouldn't need a wish list, Mary. I own some of them now.
True. Aren't they all on Game Pass anyway? So,
well, no, I said I wasn't going to talk about that this week. Let's do a little halftime. Do a little halftime.
See you in a sec.
I looked at the time and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then I remembered, like, "Oh no." Yeah, yep. We'll be back in a
bye,
minute.
friend.
Thanks.
Yeah, continue. The paused icon lagged for a second there. I was like, "Did I hit the button? Did I hit the button?" I did hit the button because it's counting up again. Hello,
You did the thing.
we're back.
Hello.
Brought an energy drink
Hey, friends.
for the second half of the podcast. We're
Gone is the if you're tasting juice.
not sponsored.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got a hot lemon.
nice. Cheers. Yeah. Refreshing. And
Banger content for audio listeners.
hold on. Let me really get into it.
There
that?
you
Was
go.
Oh, don't you have to go like he's drinking it like mouthwash?
Oh no.
No, I'm not going to do that. Not with an energy drink. Fizzy. I'm dying. Help me. Friendos. Where are we going? What are we doing?
Let's do it. Let's
Are
go
we
into the
getting out of
Xbox.
All right, cool.
Let's get it out of the way. Let's get into the Xbox shit.
All right. I'm just.
Hang on. Amy's doing things. For audio listeners, Amy's gone to the
like
back of her
blacked out
set
at
and
half
turned
mast,
off
right?
her.
It's
Oh
like,
shit! I forgot. It was gonna be black tie. I forgot.
Aye.
right, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Why would they play the American national anthem?
They're an
The
American
funeral.
company.
It's American company. Gotta show the respect. Right? Still going.
I was about to take a knee.
That's it.
I'll take it. Right, yeah.
There you go.
They don't accept that. They don't like that.
Bow my head and
There you go.
They don't accept the knee.
So I wrote this, as you might have guessed by its tone.
Hey, you've wrote something. I've wrote something. It's an amazing thing.
I wrote the
Vitz,
thing
have
in the
you wrote
show
something?
notes, and I was trying to come up with a title for this part of the podcast, and it just says "What the fuck," and I was just like, I had nothing. Like, what the fuck can we even say about this? So I'll break down the timeline of events, and then I'll have a breakdown. So this started a few weeks ago, where there were rumors that Xbox was reportedly considering bringing Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush to other consoles, which makes a lot of sense.
Hey man, that's where the money is, right?
Yeah, right.
There's leaks out there where the guy from Hi-Fi Rush is like in a pose of Cloud.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So
I mean, ignoring the fact, and someone went, it must be PlayStation, ignoring the fact that Phil was on stage with the Square Enix guy not that long ago, and they were like, we're going to make a closer partnership. But apart from that, it's definitely PlayStation related.
Yeah.
These reports very quickly started spiraling out of control.
On the internet? No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the Verge,
this is perfect legitimate reasons to be excited.
That is the forum for rational people.
The Verge came out with a report that they were considering releasing Indiana Jones and whatever the subtitle is on PlayStation 5.
Indiana Jones in the great subtitle.
Indiana Jones and the something of something.
Yeah.
And then Xbox Era had sources telling them that they were going to release Starfield on PlayStation. And I wrote a note next to this saying, I just want to remind everybody that Xbox Era was the website that we roasted last year for genuinely believing there was a conspiracy among reviewers for damage Xbox brand by giving them low review scores. Just if that has any bearing on your thoughts about Xbox Era's reporting.
And there you go.
And then this circled for a while. And then my favorite insider decided to stick his feet into it by saying, Gears of War. It's going to come to PlayStation. And it was at this point
he says it's been talked about.
I slowly felt the need to log off of the internet and never log on again. Somewhere in the mix, I don't know where this one came from, but I did see it floating around. Halo is now been thrown into the mix as Halo being on PlayStation, which which has been upgraded very quickly to all Xbox games are coming to PlayStation. At which point, Moody made a comment in our Discord chat about how funny it was searching Xbox on YouTube. So naturally, I logged into my burner YouTube account. I searched Xbox on YouTube. I watched a couple of videos. I'm not going to call anyone out. I felt like I was going crazy.
Yep, you were taking crazy pills.
So apparently now we're abandoning Microsoft are abandoning the Xbox brand, exiting the console market, and going fully third party. And supposedly, according to my sources, which are a bunch of totally hinged people on YouTube, this has all been confirmed by Phil Spencer. 100%.
Regardless of the fact that Phil had to come out and says, look, we have an official statement and a quote-unquote press conference to make next week. But no, it's all been confirmed already, so don't worry about it. They have divined the internal machinations of Phil Spencer's brain and everything that they have planned. And they've, been signed off through Xbox, Microsoft as a board and all the rest of it, but it's fine. And it all means factually that PlayStation will have zero competition and will release PS6 for $700 and or higher, and every single game will cost $100 going forward.
Because that's how all of this works.
Take it to the back fruits.
The biggest hit Xbox have taken so far this week, though, is that they lost Tim Dog. Like, they've lost Tim Dog.
Friends, if you're out there with the drink, pour one out for Tim Dog.
I've never heard of Tim Dog before. And I'll tell you what, wasn't easy to find. I assumed if I just typed Tim Dog into the search bar, I'd find him. Didn't work.
They must have done the salted earth principle.
No, he's still there. Well, I found his tweets. He's still there.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure he's been like on a podcast where he's been like verifying all this shit and everything like that. And it's like he doesn't put his face. He doesn't show his face. His camera's turned off, so you don't even know.
Yeah, there was a Twitter space. I don't remember which, because there was 3 influencers. I'm using air quotes for audio listeners.
The heaviest of air quotes.
that were cited as being like, this is a nightmare. They're losing their influencers. One was Tim Dog. One was Clobrill. And the other one was called Risk It. And I don't remember which one of them it was, but one of them hosted a nearly 8-hour Twitter space. I drew the line at listening to any of that. Like, I was like, you know what? I've watched a couple of like 15-minute videos. I'm not listening to a 7-hour Twitter space. As I wrote in the next sentence, I'm just trying to play like a dragon and get excited for Final Fantasy. Why people like this?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway of this is not necessarily what Xbox may or may not do, and we'll find out what those plans are next week. So it's kind of a moot point to try and divine what they will do, what they won't do, because it'll come out of it will come out as fact once we hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. The key takeaway is, sweet Krishna, people are stupid when it comes to a brand loyalty and being Xbox, console wars, and oh my god, I'm gonna throw my system in the bin, and how dare you abandon the platform, and I've wasted $500 buying this Xbox Series X and all the rest of it, and oh, it's all going down the pan, and
Xbox
it's all nonsense.
Like, they haven't done anything.
Never mind, they're
like
still
the
turning a
Tuxedo
profit.
Mask gift from Sailor Moon. You haven't done anything. Like, I saw the leaks. I saw the first 2 reports. This was before the internet enveloped me in its cocoon of madness and broken balls. And like the Starfield and Indiana Jones one, I went, oh, that's fascinating. But like with all rumors and leaks, as we just discussed, as I just discussed with the PlayStation Vita 2 situation, like I don't really believe any of them. So I was like, it's going to be interesting to see what comes of this. People just flipped the fucking table right over, and I don't understand why. Like, in my head, I was just like, well, Xbox are going to say something about this one way or another at some point, so let's just wait for that. Like,
sorry.
No, it's fine.
So this was apparently meant to be revealed at like the end of February, but because of all of this craziness, they've moved it up till next week and everything.
Phil came out and made a statement. Was like, hey, we've got a business update next week. Imagine they'll be reporting financial whatevers and doohickeys and shit. Like, that's probably where they were going to do it, but they've obviously moved it up because Xbox fans, and I'm using the term loosely there.
Loosely, yeah. Like, this is the thing. If you were actually fans out there and everything, you would have their console as the best-selling console out there and everything. And you wouldn't just have the best-selling console. You would have the X as the best-selling console out of the Xbox choice. Because the best-selling console for them is the fucking Xbox Series S. The least powerfulest thing out there. The digital version. There's no disc version for this fucker. So you're already there in this all-digital aspect and everything. And it's just like, you're fucking nuts, a lot of them.
I would like to politely disagree with the notion that they aren't quote unquote fans. I think these people who are clearly passionate about Xbox or PlayStation, whatever it happens to be, they are still qualified as fans. They just happen to be bad people. And they still need to be educated and rehabilitated in many ways.
The reason I'd say fans and use the term loosely is, I mean, again, many of them, as Moody and yourself alluded to, have like sold their Xboxes already, of like changed their branding, or like gone on on Twitter, on Twitter
Change your Twitter banner. That's
telling everyone they're done with Xbox. It doesn't matter what they say in it. Like next week, they're done with them. And I'm just like, I mean, he couldn't have been that big of a fan to begin with if that's all it took to tip you off, like the edge of the Xbox ledge. But I mean, I've never been a big fan of console warriors. Console wars. I was into that shit when I was like 14, but like, I mean, I grew out of it, right? Like, I grew out of it when I got my own money, and I was like, wait, I can just have all of them. Or any combination of whatever I want. Like,
and we fully respect that is a privileged position to be in, and not everybody has that option.
Sure.
But the beauty of the Xbox strategy is, it doesn't matter where you play your games. The games will come to you. More choices, more good for more people.
Reportedly.
Sorry.
It's one of my takeaways from this, which is something I've been hanging the drum about for a while, where it's just like, why do people give so much space to, and I get why, because, you know, like, everybody likes to talk about the leaks and the drama and like, are they going to do this? But people take it way too far. All the time. I got tired of it years ago.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Like, the whole fan thing and everything, like how they've acted this week, and heck, all the time, basically, for anything these days.
Yeah.
And I mean, for everyone out there, people, Nintendo fans, Sony fans, the whole lot of you, you're crazy. You really are crazy.
The people who have a parasocial relationship with, like, these brands.
Yeah. Anything,
When these brands don't give a fuck about you, really, to the highest,
corporations are not your friends.
Don't care. They don't care as much as you think they care about you, and everything. They do to that level. So you are a tool to give them money, and
your number on a spreadsheet. You're giving them time. You're giving them money. Happy days.
Yeah,
basically. But I have got some thoughts, if you will indulge me.
Yeah, go for it. I'm just there was something I was gonna. So it's gone.
Go.
It's gone. It's
my apologies.
It might come back. Wasn't anything you did.
So I'm taking the whole fan thing out of this and everything like that. I do believe there's some validity to what's happening with what we've all reported before on of something, like they've decided they're doing something to change something and whatnot. This is just my opinion and everything like that. So what I've written. So going off right now. So this is a very complicated situation, I think, going off, like, just with all the rumors and everything. For me, this is clearly shows that there is some kind of war going on with inside Microsoft/Xbox. And I think Phil Spencer, for me, has been clashing with the Microsoft heads for their messaging, with one person from Microsoft saying, yes, we're going to bring over our games to other consoles. And then Phil's been rolling back on that, saying, no, we're not doing this. And then someone else from Microsoft saying basically the same thing of, no, we're going to bring stuff to other consoles. The messaging's all out there. Their messaging has been a mess all over the place and everything, and which doesn't help at all whatsoever, because Phil's saying one thing and other people, basically Phil's bosses are saying, no, we're going to do this and everything type of thing. They have been very bullish on Xbox lately, especially with Phil Spencer and their whole Xbox Game Pass strategy. I was very on board with it when with the Netflix games of service they offered, like, years ago at the beginning, like, of the Xbox One era. They got battered in the last generation. That we've all noticed. Phil Spencer's even confirmed it himself. We all know they were battered in the last generation. And have had to try and do something completely different, and to try and get us all back on board and everything. And, like, I was on board with the Game Pass service and everything. I think Game Pass, we've stated on many occasions, it is a fantastic service out there for you to be able to get video games, especially with the price point of the S and everything. You know, the S is like £300 or even cheaper now, and vice versa. But clearly, to Microsoft, it isn't working. Like the movie industry, it's finding that subscription models are a pain in the butt and are stubbing things. There is a mass of money getting sunk into these things, and once you reach a plateau of costs where basically you pay the bills, and then you get over that plateau, you start rolling in the money and everything, or bringing in the profit type of thing. Microsoft, to me, is that saying they've never hit that line with Game Pass and I think that's why they are now trying to pivot to other things. And Microsoft are sinking to not. They want to start seeing returns in their investment. Microsoft also have just, for me, overly spent $69 billion on Activision Blizzard. And it would take strictly if they stuck to the Xbox Phil Spencer plan right now, about over 30 years for them to even break even and get that recoup that. Again, Microsoft, I think, are wanting to see a faster return in their investment, and that's why EB Key Games, for me, which I think this is just me, and I'm only going off with the research I have seen and everything. I think next week they'll announce that EB Key Games are going to be all third party. They're going to go on for everybody. This is me, and I think Bethesda and Xbox do not get along whatsoever right now. I think how Pete Hines all spoke about it and everything. I think he showed, and he's even spoken about it. He wasn't happy that Bethesda games weren't exclusive, or that they were exclusive and they couldn't go on other platforms and everything, which I think hurt Starfield like crazy. Starfield had the lowest numbers. They may have had a good high player count, but compared to what the Fallout 4 sold far better than Starfield did. Yes, it's on Game Pass and everything, but it's is that model really working for them?
This is
2 seconds.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, it was just because I know you've got stuff written down, so I don't mind breaking in. Just while you're talking about Game Pass, it's something that's been on my mind for a little while about Game Pass, and just about the way we. I don't want to say consume because I hate that word, but the way we as a whole, not just us or enthusiasts, but consume games versus movies and TV shows. I know streaming services in the movie and TV industry is having a bit of a moment right now, but I'm starting to wonder if a service like Netflix for games is gonna struggle more than Netflix did when it broke into the industry, just because of the way people the majority of people like to get their games. Because even I've been thinking about this recently. Like we were just talking about it. I want to play the old Yakuza games, and they are all on Game Pass, but I can also buy them for $3.99 when they're on sale. And there's a war going on in my brain between cost of doing things one way versus cost of doing things another way, versus the fact that these things cycle in and out of Game Pass constantly.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point.
Versus just having the game there for when I want to play it or when I want to replay it, because maybe one day I want to replay it. There's so many games that I've played in Game Pass over the past however many years I've been subscribed, which basically since day one, I've been there subscribed, that I was I would think, I'm I want to play that again, or there's a game in Game Pass that I want to play, but then I get the notification it's leaving and I haven't played it yet. Shit, Persona 4 was a great example where it was well, I'm not going to be able to play that in a week, so that's gone and I got to buy it anyway. And it's just I'm not driving towards any grand point here. It's just something that I think is interesting when you compare Game Pass to something like Netflix.
Yeah, I know, but it also doesn't help when Microsoft or Xbox have said the Netflix of gaming.
Yeah,
they've
no,
said
no,
this
no,
before.
yeah. They've brought that again, in comparison.
Their messaging, has not been that great. So I think there's been a battle crazy when it comes to Bethesda and Xbox in general. What also hurts is that I think Xbox bought 2 massive third-party publishers, Bethesda and Activision Blizzard, especially Activision Blizzard, and they are struggling to work this all out and everything, and I don't think they are best suited for it. I think on the multiple times you and me, Amy, have reported of the last 2 years of tons of their studios are just poorly run. Games are not coming along. What's happening at the quadruple A studio that's completely fallen apart? It sounds like it. Halo's fallen apart. State, we don't even know what the hell's happening with State.
Yeah,
Sure. 3's fallen apart.
The whole thing. The only one I think we're here that's really working really well is the 2 games that are potentially are gonna go out there that we can basically not 100% confirm, but it seems like they are going. That's Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, which is one's Rare. Rare's been, I think, the only one who really just cracks on and keeps on chugging along. And
I think Rare also has the advantage of being one of the first acquisitions Xbox made. They've been around for so long.
Yeah, but all of those studios that they bought in what was it, 2016, 2017?
Yeah.
We're only now starting to see the potential of their games starting to come out and everything. Which we've stated on many occasions, the video games are a pain in the ass to fucking make, and they are difficult. I can literally vouch for this. Serious. Like, it's insane how things are stuck together. It's absolutely incredible. But yeah, I think them buying 2 third-party publishers is not helping this whatsoever. Obviously, I feel like they overspent when it came to Activision. And I'll state this, and I'll finish with this. I said it at the beginning of the year. Phil has lost for me. If what is going to happen, what I feel is going to happen next week, Phil Spencer has lost. Phil Spencer will leave. I think he can't stay. He's lost. His plan has failed. So for me, he will not be the leader to take what they want to do for Xbox from now on, and I think he will be gone by the end of the year. For me personally, yeah, that's my thoughts on this whole thing. I think Microsoft is like, they've just made the decision, and it's a decision which always pisses us off. Money.
Yeah.
We want our fast returns. We just give you all of this money to buy a big publisher. We want the return even faster. We saw Activision released a broken ass Call of Duty game, still the best selling game last year, and that was on everything. And they're just like, well, why can't and they would have done they would have analyzed. So if we took this off everything, which we know they haven't, like Call of Duty is going to be on at least PlayStation for like the next 10 years,
yeah,
Switch, and etc. But they would have done the test analysis of like, what if this wasn't? How much were we going to lose? And that's basically how it is, and it just comes down to, sadly, money all the time.
It does, and like, you know, I'm never going to sit here and fucking back up a corporation. But I don't see, like, I'm not going to talk about like what the leaks are and what the information is. Like, I made a decision.
This is just my opinion on the research that I've gone through.
Like, I made a decision. I'm just going to wait until they tell me what's going on.
And I agree.
Even before the vortex of madness opened up beneath my feet. But
that's fair.
But I don't see a bad thing if Xbox release their games on other platforms. Like, that just means more people can play their games.
That was the point I was making earlier.
I should have put that in as well. I don't see this as a bad thing.
No.
Like, I don't think like the Xbox first party exclusives that been their heritage, like what Rub says, Gears of War, Halo, and everything like that. I can't see them going. If they do, fine. No, more players get to play incredible games for people who have shouted on the rooftops that are incredible games. You know, that's what I want to see. I would love to see that and everything. That's fantastic. But I think those 2 publishers that they bought, they're gonna go. I think Bethesda's probably will be like a year exclusive, so like you can only play it on Microsoft for a year, and then it goes through everything.
Yeah, it'll be a timed exclusive thing. But then I'd like for Starfield, and when the Bethesda thing went through, it could be the case that they were developing a PS5 or PS4 SKU to begin with, kind of thing, and it might be that a lot of that legwork. Yeah. So it's one of these, and more choice for more players to play to games, and on the PlayStation platform, if it happens to go there, pay full price for them. And like I said, more choices. There's no downside, and it is just these people who wave the banner for Xbox and put all their personality into a corporation, and those are the only ones which are losing out. And it's kind of, well, you kind of need to get your priorities first rather than before you start worrying about anything else, kind of thing.
There's not even a downside for Sony or Nintendo here. Like, Microsoft have to pay Sony and the Nintendo to allow them to put their
certification costs. Absolutely,
yeah. So and if they stay on physical and everything like that, at least on Blu-ray, Sony gets because they invented Blu-ray, they get all the profits anyway. And with the games going on their services, Sony gets a profit for a 30% profit. Nintendo will get a 30% profit and everything for it. So this helps everybody. This potentially could, like, you know, all the things of what we talked about a couple of weeks ago is like, is the video game industry heading for a crash? This potentially could help alleviate, because everyone's helping each other. Even though Nintendo and PlayStation aren't going to put their exclusives on Xbox, it's just what they're not going to do that. We know this, or each other's, but like, this potentially could help alleviate the craziness, which would alleviate my fucking anxiety. I won't lie, in the industry, even though it really pisses me off still to the day of like, hey, Microsoft, you fired almost 2,000 people last week or 2 weeks ago. Now you're a $3 trillion company. Like, seriously, I can appreciate where people are coming from, and I understand from a certain point, like, yo, you already had this division on Microsoft, so why? Yeah, I can understand from a certain point, but at the end of the day, like, I'm pretty sure there's a report out there that the FTC are now asking them, wait, why have you done that?
It's so
Yeah.
the FTC reported. I think it was this morning. What
It
happened?
was this morning, yeah.
What happened there was, as Moody will very well know, because we had to spend an entire year talking about this. One of the things Microsoft promised was that they wouldn't fundamentally alter like how Activision Blizzard works, and firing 1,900 people and amalgamating a lot of the job roles from Activision Blizzard into Microsoft fundamentally alters how Activision Blizzard works. Like, so the FTC are now back involved, and like they've got a decent case, but it's the FTC. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to make the case very well. But like, unlike the direction that they approached the last lawsuit from, like they actually, I feel personally, and I'm not a legal expert or a business expert, but I feel like from what I've seen so far, it's like they do kind of have a leg to stand on here.
Yeah, the initial defense has been that these layoffs were planned already, but that doesn't track with the volume.
Because you have to the volume, yeah, sure, and like it would just decimate Activision Blizzard as a company if they'd done this independently. Yeah. But also the WARN Act in California like means that if Activision Blizzard were planning to do these layoffs, they would have had to, by law, inform the state. So.
Yeah, 100%. And it's one of these where, you've got to act as business as usual in the event that the acquisition doesn't go through, kind of thing. So if you weren't planning to do that, then that's just bad business.
That's worse. That's worse for them.
Yeah, like, that's worse.
Yeah, because then it proves it. I don't, and again, I don't know if like legally it proves it, but it kind of proves like that they were. If they were planning this before, that they were lying when they said it was going to be business as usual.
Yeah.
What? Are you lying?
And I don't think you can lie in court. I think there's a thing. There's something.
And there's an oath thing. Yeah.
You have to put a hand on a Bible and everything.
Yeah, something like that.
And go like that.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're not religious, then a Spot the Dog book is one of those books. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sorry, I think I made copious amounts of drink shoot out of Amy's nose.
Did you wait until I took the drink?
No, the puns come where they come.
I can respect that.
There you go.
So yeah, that was a thing. If we're done, are we done? Because
I think we'll
talk about this in a week. And I want to, I want to get on my soapbox for a minute. And talk about this other report that was circulating. Like, man, I'm really going with a fucking machete against all these goddamn reports. About the one that I'm sure a lot of people already read, the 95% of studios working on live service games. Because, Vitz, you shared this in the Discord.
I did.
And my first reaction was, holy mother of Christ, why? And then I clicked it and I read it. And I very quickly pulled out a quote that I highlighted in our doc, which says, the report notes that traditional... nope. That wasn't even...
That wasn't the one, was it?
I highlighted the wrong paragraph. My apologies. The survey defines live services as any regular update cadence planned for a game. Which that's most games.
That's every game.
That is a video game. But so like obviously I pointed this out in the thing. I said I don't think it means that like 95% of devs are working on Suicide Squads. Because like with that definition, Dead Cells is a live service game. Slay the Spire, Pokemon, that's a live service game.
Yep.
Everything is a live service game. But what was fascinating about this was like keeping an eye on the Xbox shenanigans meant I also saw a lot of other posts, and I saw a lot of people posting about this. And what quickly became apparent, and it's something that like is not going to be news to anybody, but a lot of people read the headline. and then
The
click
headline
post.
and ran with it.
And
Yeah.
this is something I've definitely gotten on my soapbox about before on this podcast and on social media, which is like you need to stop just reading headlines and then formulating thoughts about it. You need to read stories because yeah, the 95% of devs making a live service game, that's a sensational thing, and holy fucking shit, if that's true, like that's like forget Crash, the video game's going to crater straight through the crust of the Earth's core. But then you read the report and it's not that at all. Like that's not what this is. Like
it's kind of a sensationalist headline to begin with.
Yeah.
However, you're completely right in terms of the onus is on the on you, dear reader, to click on the headline and read the paragraph which qualifies what a live service game is, because everybody's going to have a different definition.
Yeah.
And that gives a lot of context, and a lot of people are putting down pitchforks and lit torches after seeing what the article is actually about.
It's like a miniature. It was like this was preparing us for the Xbox stuff. It's like this was a miniature like version of
Test
that.
the waters,
like,
right?
We didn't learn our lesson from this moment. Right, we just need to think for a minute. Like 95% is too high a number. Like if you saw that number and didn't question it immediately, like I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, like I don't know, man. Like click links, read things. Click the links in the things that you read to the sources to read those. Like I wish it didn't have to work like that, but unfortunately with our current media landscape, it does kind of have to work like that.
Yes. There's no more to say on that. Can we talk about some positive news about a union forming at a company? So, friends, this week, employees at IGN formed the IGN Creators Guild, which is essentially a union which they're taking to their masters at Ziff Davis to collectively lobby for improved working conditions, improved employee contracts, and all that good stuff. I think this is a positive in terms of the number of people who are supporting this movement. They currently have a petition. They have their own Twitter account. I think it's IGN Guild, I want to say it is. And essentially, they're taking this to their paymasters at Ziff Davis and saying, okay, things are really good at IGN at the moment. So Reb from IGN came on Kind of Funny Games Daily to record a short segment with Greg Miller to explain what a union is for people who are uneducated, and why there's a need to have this during the good times at IGN. So they went to great lengths to state that they're not on the verge of laying anybody off. At least that's what they've been told. But in the event that they do, or they just want to fight for better working conditions for everybody there and make the company a more attractive prospect to people who want to look for a job in the industry, I think it's a really good thing. My one critique is that I accept that it's a necessary evil for them to have a petition for Ziff Davis to formally acknowledge them as a union, and then there's some paperwork to do, and then they can be essentially ratified, and then they're being able to collectively lobby and be recognized by the law of the United States in order to get this through. They shouldn't have to do this in the first place. Ziff Davis should say, "Oh, this is a good thing because it's going to improve the satisfaction and health and welfare of our employees going forward." Maybe that's not their top priority, but it should be, kind of thing. And so I currently, they are just short of 4,000 signatures on their petition. So if you're so inclined, then you can go over to their Twitter account and find the link there to go and support them.
Done.
Yes.
Also,
it takes 2 seconds.
It's at IGN Union. And
sorry, yes, IGN Union.
I did that in the time you were talking, so
hell yes.
And that includes finding it. And I was going to try and find it on my laptop, but I'm logged out of Twitter on my laptop, and I don't think that's a bad thing. So I get my phone. So it was a whole thing. Probably be quicker for you than it was for me.
Yeah, congratulations to the IGN, the union. Like, everyone
Creators Guild,
looking to unionize either way and everything, like, because sadly, like what you said, Vitz, like companies don't give a fuck. They have to be forced to accept a union and everything like that. It goes against, basically, I think it goes like against American beliefs these days of a union. And like they fight against it to the heart's bloody content and everything. But either way,
that's what freedom's all about. Freedom of exploitation of the working class.
Free.
Exactly. But yeah, it's great to hear that things are going great and everything like that. Yeah, I know, like we bitched about them, at least some of how like certain articles were written and everything like a couple of weeks ago and everything, and by certain people.
No,
yeah. Go on.
No, there is one thing I wanted to say actually on that, which is I know I dragged one person in particular last week quite a bit, rightfully so, Destin from IGN, but actually like during this Xbox stuff, like he's had his head screwed on straight for this, and I felt like I kind of owed him after last week to just say,
good job, Destin.
Well, good job, Destin. But also, like, he's shared some of the abuse that he's gotten from Xbox fans for basically having a level head during all of this, and that's fucking unconscionable. I was meant to mention it earlier, and he just reminded me. So.
Wait, what? He's been like, calm down about the Xbox thing.
Yeah, he's basically been on that page of, hey, maybe we should just wait until see what they say. Like,
and then people came after them with the notion of, oh, well, you were quick to say this and this about this type. But when it comes to Xbox, you're quiet.
Yeah, his DMs lit up, and I was just like, you know, after what I said last week, I thought I want to be fair and balanced. DM.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I hope you are doing well, Destin, and I hope you haven't allowed them to get to you and everything like that. But don't be a dick, people. Like seriously. But yes, congratulations to the IGN team. I hope this does like work out for you and everything like that. It's great to hear, like I was saying. It seems like Rebecca Valentine said, everything's going really well. It seems for IGN right now, which is a great thing, I guess. Like I say, we want to hear that the company's run well. They've got great staff and everything like that, and they're working really well. And yeah, congratulations to them.
The core message from them was things are great at the moment, and we're doing this so things can remain great and get even better. Kind of thing. It's not unions aren't just for when the shit hits the fan.
Goes to shit. Yeah.
You don't form a union during the bad times. That's a bad time to form a union.
Before I feel like we should finish on the state of play.
That's where I was going.
I was going to ask, can I just go to the Capcom thing?
I was going to ask if we go to the Capcom thing. So
let's swing by Capcom Lane and then end on a little.
Well, we've got plenty of time. There's like we'll see what we get to. But yeah, let's see what Capcom.
Let's go Capcom.
So this is.
Give me Dino Crisis, you rat bastards! Pick Dino Crisis.
Let me read the title
messing
first.
Around, Capcom.
You had to have seen that coming, Vitz.
VGC reports that Capcom survey asked players if they want to see sequels or remakes of lapsed series. A new Capcom survey asked players if they want to see sequels or remakes of certain current and old series. The Super Election survey, which is found on the publisher Capcom's town website, asked 10 questions about various aspects of Capcom.
Yeah. So
Really? Go!
Every single answer I put in was fucking Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis. Give me Dino Crisis. Stop it now. Give me it. You've already teased me enough. Like your new engine's like called Dinosaur something or whatever. It's like you're literally pissing on me and you haven't even courtesy of calling it rain. You little bastards. Give me Dino Crisis. Give me now. Give me it now. Because you're gonna remake Veronica for those bastards who don't like Veronica, and you're gonna remake Resi 5, and you're gonna remake Resi 6, and people don't even like those games, but you don't remake Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis! Give me Dino Crisis!
You remember
now!
I'm glad.
Do you remember the discussion we had?
Yeah.
Do you remember the discussion we had like 20 minutes ago about how to be a good fan and not go after people?
He's suffered. To be fair, to be fair, like
of course it's in jest.
Not only has Capcom been giving him this, like, but to be fair, I've been winding him up for like years.
There's no doubt. She has indeed. But also this is all in jest. I just want to read. This is all in jest. I did not do the surface saying fucking Dino Crisis.
This is all a
multiple choice question. You can't pick Dino Crisis more than once. There's a few things I noticed about this survey that fascinated me. I mean, the first one is, as for reasons that will become evident when I finish the video essay I'm working on, when I saw Capcom talking about Commando, it triggered my fight or flight response. There's two different questions here. One was for sequels or new games. Dino Crisis is in this one. So is Monster Hunter, which has a sequel coming out next year. Yep. And Resident Evil, which I'm assuming has a sequel coming out next year.
Yeah, at least soon. At least it's probably going to get announced this year.
Yeah, there's like some weirdness here where it's like, oh, do you want to see a sequel to these games that are already definitely getting a sequel?
Like Street Fighter 6 came out last year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Devil May Cry as well. And Dragon Dogma sequel's coming.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma's in there. That was the one I was driving towards. It's like, that's coming out next month, you know.
Did you forget about these ones, Capcom?
Like, didn't they just do a re-release of Ace Attorney like last week?
I think they did, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, it's cool. Like, just laying the groundwork, seeing like what pops off. Like, I wish we like, because we're not going to see the results of this survey.
No.
But I wish we could, because I think that would be really interesting to see. And the second one was there's another question, which is, is there a game you would like to see completely remade with the latest technology, including characters, design, and story direction? Dino Crisis isn't on that list.
Yeah, that made no sense to me. I was like, what are you doing to me?
All you get is a HD remaster. I
was so confused.
I'll buy it. I'll be okay with this.
I was so confused with that, because like, so you might make a sequel to Dino Crisis, but under no circumstances will you remake Dino Crisis. Or conspiracy theory time. I'm getting up to the camera. What if they're already making it, and that's why it's not in the poll? There's my contribution to the nightmare of rumors.
There you go.
That have been spinning around for a week.
Whenever Keely's Fest thing is this year, and you're down here and everything, which I'm surmised you're going to be coming down.
Capcom will do their own thing for they do their own thing.
Or whenever they do.
I've just guaranteed we're going to have to live stream every single Capcom event.
Just in case.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you remember when they did their E3 conference? Oh, well, what was E3? And people was like, oh no, they accidentally played the video to the previous E3 because it was all the same games that we're talking about.
That's the only reason I can think why Dino Crisis would not be on that thing, or they're just seriously not interested. It's like it's one extreme or the other.
Which again makes no sense. The last three Jurassic World films all made $1 billion. Even
we get a new Jurassic World movie next year.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. That's intriguing. But either way, as long as it's better than the last one, I don't care.
Other interesting note. Exoprimal's not on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a Lost Planet. I think that would be a good. I wouldn't want it for a sequel. I would say, like, remake it. Go for it. Like, give it a whole revamp and everything. You've got one of the best. This is the thing about it. You've got one of the best engines out there. Like, I don't think anyone says anything bad about the Resi Evil engine, or whatever the hell they call it.
The RE engine.
RE engine, yeah. And like, so it's like
you can make anything with that thing, man. Like, the first game I played on the RE engine was fucking Kitchen.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And before everybody knew it was a Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
That's true.
One of my favorite EGX experiences of all time.
There you go.
I love telling that story, but I won't say it here. But I'd like to see them remake Onimusha, because then it will give me an excuse to sit down and actually play it, because apparently I'd really love those games, but I've just never actually sat down and played them.
Wasn't John Reno in the third one? He was on the box art, right?
Never played them.
I think so.
But
yeah. Capcom doing Capcom things.
Yeah, let's do Capcom.
See what
the thing is about it. Capcom has still been absolutely been incredibly successful. Obviously, like the Resi's been nothing but incredible for them. Even though like some games I think have been mixed for some of us and everything, but like Monster Hunter, like I can't wait for the Monster Hunter game next year. I think that's going to be absolutely a banger. And I am looking forward to see whatever they do for Resident Evil 9. Yeah, 9.
Yep, 9 is the next one.
Which I'm guessing is going to be the next one. I think it'll probably be announced this year at their own thing or Keeley's Fest. And
they'll announce it during the summer.
Either way, I'm looking forward to it. Like Capcom, like they had like their turnaround the last 10 years has been incredible. So like they've been a really good success story, even though we haven't agreed on a lot of things they do sometimes. But either way,
I'm looking forward to see how they're going to top Lady Dimitrescu. So yeah, bring it on.
Just so you know, if they do announce the Dino Crisis remake, you will hear me from the moon.
There we go.
And I get an I told you so.
Amy's going to work on a I told you so dance by Elliot from Scrubs.
It's my character redemption arc. I've teased Moody for years that Dino Crisis is never going to happen, and now I've just flipped on him. I've been like, hey, it's not on this list. It seems like a prime candidate to be on this list, considering other PS1 games are on this list.
No doubt.
Speaking of PS1 games, smooth duck segue. Should we talk about a little game called Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah,
I've never fucking heard of this game.
You're never gonna, you want to wait until the end of the month. You're never going to stop hearing about this game.
Do I have to play the previous 6 to understand what's going on?
Well, I've got 6 installed on my PlayStation.
There you go.
So I may, fuck.
Yeah, there was a state of play this week.
I wasn't going to watch it, and then I couldn't resist the urge to watch it. Because it's Rebirth. Like, I'm definitely not playing the demo. I don't fuck with demos when the game's not that far away, but.
Just for context, for those who aren't aware, so Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the follow-up to Remake, and there was a demo that Shadow dropped that PlayStation may have spoiled by uploading it to the PSN store a day early, but still they made a huge song and dance about it. And the demo itself covers what I understand is the opening of the game, and on the opening title screen of that game, it indicates that if you play the demo, you can then skip that part of the main full release kind of thing. So if you want to do that, then that's there for you.
Holy shit, this game looks fucking incredible. Sorry, I paused. I went and then I was going to go into the holy shit, this looks incredible. Yeah. You started talking, so I just paused. Like, it's a nice little video Easter egg for anybody. My God. I didn't think I was going to watch a state of play about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and be more excited than I already was.
I am feeling all the things when it comes to this game.
Wow. Holy Christ.
Yeah.
And it was short. It was 20 minutes long. I really respected that. Thank you for just giving me bullet points. Give me a cool trailer. That looked fucking great. There's lots of stuff in there that I recognize.
400 new songs been recorded for this game, like orchestral arrangements and all sorts.
Yeah, well, it'll be like the soundtrack for Remake had lots of different variations on themes, which I really liked. So I imagine they've just done that, because you got to remember is Remake is this much of Final Fantasy VII, and we're about to get this much of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, when they showed the breadth of the map and how many regions it covers, I audibly gasped. It was holy shit, this is going to be my whole life.
Oh God, this is all I'm going to be able to play for the rest of the year.
Yeah. They showed some really interesting mechanics when it came to how you level up individual relationships within your party and the things you get to do with that, and how they've designed the side quests to all be meaningful, and there'll be unique dialogue which happens between the various different party members which go and take on these side quests, and how it unlocks various super moves for them, or synergy moves. I forget what the actual term is. Yes, combo moves. And it's all amazing. And to your point, Amy, it looks absolutely stunning. I will say that there was a preview embargo that lifted when the state of play ended. So many outlets launched their preview, and I took the time to watch a few of them. in similar ways to how Final Fantasy 16 performed, in a performance mode, it looks to be rendering around about 1080p, if not 900p, for the original, the initial open world or the exploration area. But when it comes to boss fights, then that's where they've really sunk the budget in, and it's amazing. And I'm sure there'll be a day one patch or three to improve the performance to uplift the quality of that going forward. But even so, the game looks amazing. And given the events of Remake and how it's not necessarily just a remake or a remake of Final Fantasy VII, the original game, because as you pointed out, it's just pretty much the Midgar section.
The remake, the Final Fantasy VII remake, was the first part, and the rest of it is not a remake, sort of.
Absolutely. And in my heart, at least, I won't say in my mind, but in my heart, anything is on the table kind of thing. And anything can happen, and everything probably will happen. And I cannot wait.
They can hurt you so much worse. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. But, my heart's going to be broken, and it's going to soar, and it's going to do all the things.
Everyone's like, oh my God, when we get to this scene? And I'm just like, just wait. They're going to make it 100 times worse.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm sure of. But what was fascinating watching this, I mean, one, like, fuck yes, like, the way they're talking about like the side quests and like party relationships and stuff, I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, I've complained a lot about a lot of open world games in the last 10 years because side stuff just feels superfluous. And one of the reasons, and I'll talk more about this in depth next week, one of the reasons I love Yakuza games so much, the ones I've played anyway, is because the side stuff doesn't feel superfluous, which I'm sure Moody can agree with me on that.
Yes.
But what was really fascinating, and I thought, right, when I was watching the state of play, and I thought this was just because I've been playing Yakuza for the last 2 weeks, but then I saw the same sentiment online. Like, I'm getting strong Yakuza vibes out off of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like, for everything that they're doing, like, in terms of, like, because, like, I don't know how much Moody was listening to what you were describing then, but when you talk about character relationships being key, but also driving gameplay mechanics, when you talk about side quests that are meaningful and feedback into the main game, I've just played that game for the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I fucking loved it. Spoilers for next week, I guess. But like the idea that they're taking all of that kind of stuff that I've loved in this other game that I'm playing and putting in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is what made me more excited for this game than I thought I could possibly be. Like, there's side stuff in Remake, and it was fine and whatever, and like you got a cool scene if you completed all of it, but the quests themselves were kind of pointless, and I hated doing them. Like, and like there was tons of stuff like that, and it sounds like they took that feedback on board from fans and went, all right, cool, we'll just make it better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah. You're doing everything I wanted you to do. This never happens.
So
yes.
I didn't get to watch this,
That's
like
fair.
I said at the beginning of this and whatnot. But I will say this: I will be playing this. Either way, I'm gonna give it a go and everything like that. Even though Remake didn't really click for me compared, but I don't have that Final Fantasy VII love compared to what you two have. Like, if it was Final Fantasy IX, I'm there. I'm gobbling that all down and everything. Like, if that is revealed,
I do still remember, because we talked about Remake, and I know you hadn't played all the way through it, and I do still remember when I told you how it ended and what the game was actually about. The look on your face was like, oh, that sounds really cool. And I was like, right?
Yeah. I won't lie. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. I won't lie whatsoever for that. And for fair play and respect to them and that. And if I had the time to go back through remaking how to do it, maybe, but I do not.
Yeah, sorry to cut across you. So I've just completed a replay of Remake, and effectively with the chapter selection, it is like a new game plus run, and but it didn't take too long to do. I think you can knock it out in around about 20 hours. Having said that, obviously that's with New Game Plus and effectively New Game Plus with all your equipment upgraded and all the abilities. And just for additional context, I have not played the original Final Fantasy VII, so all of my quote-unquote love of Final Fantasy VII comes from listening to the soundtrack, watching things like Advent Children.
Hold on.
And Amy's gone to get a prop, but yeah, watching things like Advent Children, playing Crisis Core on the PSP.
Went out of focus. Come on, man.
Yep. Still out of focus.
Camera. Why? It's the soundtrack on CD.
Yeah, it is. Yep, and that's the one. The original.
I bought that fucker in like 2003. I imported it from Japan.
Yeah, so playing a few of the spin-off games, I didn't get to judge Cerberus because I heard that was terrible. So even though I don't know the full extent of everything that goes down in the original 97 release of Final Fantasy VII, I know the one big thing that people always talk about, and I'm really interested to see how that may or may not play out in this one.
It's got an art book. Well, you can tell it. Yeah. You can tell I imported it because it's all in Japanese.
Sorry, that is fantastic. Like you don't have the affiliation to the old version and everything, but you're loving the new one. That is
100%.
And everything. So, like, yeah, I am looking forward to giving it a go and everything like that. Like, I love Final Fantasy. Like, Final Fantasy IX is my favorite game of all time. I love Final Fantasy X. The new iterations haven't really clicked for me and everything like that, but at the same time, like, I still love Final Fantasy, so I'm looking forward to this either way. So yeah,
just watch the story recap of Remake. I think you'll be good with that.
That's what I think I'll do. It'll probably be easier for me.
To be fair,
sure someone's created a content video on that.
Well, as I understand it, the Rebirth is going to launch with, I believe, a 17-minute recap of everything that went down in Remake.
Woohoo! Yeah, baby.
That's cool. But on your to like just to get you like excitement levels up a bit, Moody. Like this is a fucking Like a Dragon. This looks like such a fucking Like a Dragon ass game. Like the game.
I've got something to do when I finish the podcast, but I do intend to watch it. So I'll probably watch it when I go to bed.
You'll get the vibes. It's like the game you're playing right now. It was so surreal watching it and being like, what the fuck.
Well, this is the thing why I feel like I need to get Like a Dragon finished, and I'm kind of glad, Boomerang, thank you a little bit now, that you didn't send me Persona. I'm so glad. You sent me Helldivers. I'm returning that because I completely forgot I have to finish this subscription, like what you said this morning on the earlier in the episode. I completely forgot, slipped my mind that, so I'm returning that either way.
Like I feel like I would have joined you on that, but I also I'm just like nah, not right now.
I mean, I completely forgot I put it on my Boomerang list. I was intending to delete it.
Maybe it's later. Maybe it's like in the summertime or something. I'll see if I can get a gang together for it. But right now, I'm just like, I've just finished Like Dragon. I kind of do want to play Persona. It's like maybe this is the era all I play is JRPG.
There you go.
And one game about a turnip robbing a bank.
Let's just say, like, first 5-6 weeks of games have been mostly Japanese games, which you hear like years ago. Remember, like we've spoken about like last year about the Japanese man who says he doesn't like the term JRPGs and everything. Shida-san, thank you very much, and everything. And like we had a big conversation about it. Then another Japanese developer came out and says he doesn't really care. He doesn't really care about it. He says
that was the FF7 director. That was this week. I saw that.
So it's a whole thing. But like remember like that documentary about I just stroked my squirrel for some reason. I don't know why.
Stroke your squirrel is not a euphemism, audio listeners. He has a plushie next door.
The indie documentary where those indie developers bitched about
in the movie. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Them, and now look at them. Look at these amazing Asian games that have come out and that have just been absolutely bangers for a lot of people. Tekken is apparently brilliant. I hope to get to that soon. Like a Dragon, saying right now, I'm loving it. Jamie's, you're loving it and everything like that. Oz loved it. She's finished it. I'm hoping to get to Persona, which would be pretty much my truly first Persona, which I'm kind of excited to get to. And I'm excited for Final Fantasy VII, up to the levels of U2 and everything like that. But I am still excited. It's still great to see the first 2 months have been basically Asian games, and they have been nothing but bangers for the most part. So it's like fantastic. Like heck, freaking Prince of Persia, great game. It was a really great game. I hit a wall.
I've heard
with it,
really good things about it. I do feel kind of bad that it's kind of gone buried in these
it has
big hitters that have come out around it. Yeah. But I think that's just the nature of the games industry in general now. I think like if you're releasing a game that's not like one of the big hitters, because the big hitters are hitting like a lot in the last 18 months. I think it's one of those things where it's like you got to try and find that you've got to try and find your audience and not go for like the broad marketing approach, because like you're just gonna get buried.
Like last year was everyone 2023 was the best game of gaming in video game term. Let's not forget about the thousands of layoffs and everything like that. But but like I think the argument could be say 2024 has had the best start to a video game year so far, just from the first 5 weeks.
Yeah,
which is incredible. So it's like, bring it on. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for what's the rest for 2024 and everything. So it's like really, really good.
It's interesting to me, like, as someone who made a vow at the end of last year to be like, I'm not going to focus as much on new release games, but the new release games that are coming out are keeping my focus on them. Like, it's not me going, I have to review this, and then I have to review that, and then I have to play this to have an opinion of that. It's me sitting back and just going, oh, but fuck, like, I really want to play this. Like, and then, I really want to play this. And then by the time I've finished one, it'll be like, the next one's coming out. Like,
it's all about the vibes and what you're feeling in the moment. And it's completely valid to find that in a title that's just released or something that's on your backlog and something you haven't got to yet. And it's all completely valid. And in 90% of the cases, most of these games aren't going anywhere, kind of thing. So
yeah, well, I mean, like the game I played before, Yakuza, was fucking Oracle of Ages, so.
Yes, 100%.
And Turnip Boy, but I'm going to play that in a day. So actually, technically, I also played the Silent Hill game last week, I guess.
You did. You did. You tolerated the Silent Hill game.
You love that game, I heard.
I experienced the Silent Hill game.
I won't lie.
God!
Shout out to the wallpaper you did for the last week's episode.
Oh, the thumbnail!
The thumbnail. That's it.
Yeah, no,
my brain wouldn't hear the name.
I wish I'd come up with the edit for the podcast. Someone literally just asked me like, "Oh, how is the Silent Hill 2 trailer? Like, what do you think of the Silent Hill 2 trailer?" And I saw the thumbnail and I went, "I can edit this."
You can re-upload that. You can re-upload that thumbnail. It's all good. You can replace it on the fly.
Jesus! I hurt. That one hurt. I think. I remember years ago there was a podcast I wasn't on. Keith, Russ, and Tom were doing a podcast, and they came up with one of the topics they came up with was like, what game series, franchises do you want to see come back? And I wasn't on this podcast, but like obviously I watched it. And like the first thing I think it was Keith. The first thing Keith said was like, "Well, I think we can safely say that Amy would want Silent Hill to come back." And I literally fucking marched on to the next week's podcast. Before I let them get a fucking word in, I was just like, listen, dickheads, I do not want Silent Hill to come back. Because Silent Hill coming back means Konami, because Konami would have to be involved. And like, I think about that moment a lot in the recent past. Where it's just like, Amy was onto something in the past. And
AB foresaw Blooper Team.
It hurts. It's not even Blooper Team. I mean, we've got Silent Hill Ascension, which is still going. Oh, yeah, there is. Like, somehow.
Every time I tab across on the PS5 I get an ad for.
I get an ad for it as well, yeah. And the short message wasn't a bad game. It just had some significant flaws that I couldn't get past. But I don't even know who made that game. Like, that's the part. I don't think there was no developer listed for it. So I don't know who made it. Like, I don't know if it was Bloober doing like a small side project or what. But I don't know. Anyway, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks sick, and I can't wait.
It's gonna be amazing.
3 weeks today. Yeah. Well, when the podcast comes out, 3 weeks yesterday. By the time, like 3 weeks today, when the podcast comes out, I'll have already been playing it for fucking God knows how long.
Whenever the 29th rolls around in wherever you happen to be, depending on funky dunky time zones, then yeah.
I am buying
That's when it starts happening.
Like, I know I have a rental list thing, but it's like, nah, I'm being that person that buys it to download it, to preload it, so I can just play it as soon as it unlocks. Like, I'm not waiting for the postman. Fuck that. That guy's too slow.
There's every chance Pat might screw you over. Yeah.
Well, they did with Like a Dragon.
There you go.
Anyway, let's finish up. The closer, as I've called it. I don't know why I did that.
I like it though. I like the closer.
I'm glad you like the closer. Right. So it's OpenCritic Head-To-Head. That's what we're closing with. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games, and whoever guesses closest to the score at the time of recording gets a point. And if you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week,
Ooh, friends, was I wrong on this one?
oh boy, I hate. It's one of those situations where I hate being right. Like,
Yeah.
I hate it genuinely. Like, if you had been right and I had been wrong, I would have been like, thank Christ. But yeah, so last couple of weeks we've been guessing OpenCritic scores for the live service games that have been coming out. So we have one score out of 3 that we're waiting for, and it's a Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Vitz, you guessed it, we get an 82. Moody, you guessed it, we get a 69.
Nice.
And I guessed it would get a 62. At the time of recording, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has an OpenCritic average of 59, which gives Amy the point.
Ooh.
That's the first point on the board. Our previous
There you
one
go.
was a draw.
Congrats.
So we're off and running. No, it doesn't mean anything.
Speaking of games with low scores, so in the Fantasy Critic League, I know obviously Power World was auto drafted, and I was having a look on OpenCritic, and that game at the moment I think it currently sits at a 69, and that is only because one outlet decided to review that game and gave it a score of 29 out of 100.
Wow.
Now, I'm not sure whether this particular reviewer has a has a Pokemon bias or anything like that, but having seen the game in action and all the rest of it, it is nowhere near a 20.
We need to do a Fantasy Critic update after this. But let's finish up. I've just opened Fantasy Critic, but we'll finish this off first. So we're going to guess the OpenCritic average of 2 more upcoming games. We were going to guess the OpenCritic average of Lysfanga, the Time Shift Warrior, but it has a 78 on OpenCritic, so no. So first off, we're going to guess Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. This is a new Don't Nod game, if I remember rightly. That's been shown off at a couple of Xbox game showcases. I believe, if I'm thinking of the right game, and if I'm not, I'm going to embarrass the shit out of myself.
Yeah, this is like I believe the characters are like they're either husband and wife or they're they're in a relationship, and one of them is a ghost. So
I am thinking of the right game. Yeah. So
Focus Entertainment and Maximum Games.
Maximum.
I believe this is going to hit at a 78, please.
All right, I've got Vitz down for 78. Moody, any advances on 78?
Don't I love Don't Nod, I won't lie. Like, I am a big fan of them. Not Deck 9 level, but...
What the Deck 9 took what Don't Nod made?
I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna go 81.
You fuckers can't keep doing this to me. I've had a number locked in my head, but because every week I've been the person who's gone lowest, and I'm just like, one of you fuckers needs to undercut me here. Like, this isn't fair. I'm really coming off like a fucking cynical bitch.
So 69.
75. No, not that cynical. And we've got Mario versus Donkey Kong is the other game we're going to check in with. This is a remake. I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is a remake.
You mentioned it in Fantasy Critic Draft. I don't know why I'm still holding a dribble.
I don't know why ever.
It's your emotional support dribble.
Emotional. Vitz, what do you think of Mario versus Donkey Kong?
I would like to put this one down as a 83, please.
83. Moody. I know you've got some personal ties to
some
this
vested
game,
interest.
Vested interests in this game.
Obviously, it's like a 96, clearly, but no, 88.
Never fails. Except when it does.
Unless it's a 91 this week, it seems like that's the number to go for.
So, I had a number locked in my head for this one as well, which is
75,
80.
if you want to be cynical.
No, it was always 80. I was always going 80.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just I'm just the Debbie Downer of this.
You're the cynical bitch.
That's me. I'm the cynical bitch. It's working for me so far, though, because I'm in the lead.
That's true.
That is true.
just quickly, I just logged into Fantasy Critic on Vitz's sort of mentioning it. There's been some points and some movement. I'm just going to read the standings out. So Vitz is currently in the lead with 2 released games on 32 points. I'm in second place with 1 released game with 20 points. It's me and Russ. Tekken versus Infinite Wealth, because Russ is also on 20 points. In second.
Those games.
Moody, you're in 4th with 1 released game, giving you 12 points. Keith hasn't had any games come out yet. Elf Daughter has fallen into last place on minus 10 points.
With 2 released
I should go to
2
third.
release games.
I should go up to 3rd tomorrow.
Yeah, Last Fangirl will come out. Elfie's had 2 games come out. Helldivers 2 hasn't got any reviews yet.
And
the Inquisitor is on a 60.
Oi.
Ouch.
She just went all in with all her games. She just went game.
I know somebody else who pulled that trick last year, and it worked out pretty well for them.
No doubt.
And he's in the lead right now. So
I'm going to do shopping my second counter pick from Elf Daughter's list. That's all I'm going to say.
I just want to shout out. Nice snipe pick from me there, Amy.
Oh, so you know what happened? I didn't realize you had bid for it. You know, when we did
me who's bidded for a Pokemon game.
I didn't even realize anyone else had bid for it for days until I was until I went into the league history to just have a look. You know, when we did the podcast right before the bids closed the week that Pokemon, you mentioned Pokemon Black and White remake. And in my head, I've been like, Moody's been right about every fucking Pokemon for years. I think I even did it while we were doing the podcast. I'm pretty sure I just went on my phone and bid for it so I didn't forget. Because
I only put down $1 for it. Like
I think I put 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in a privileged position on Fantasy Critic right now because ties are broken by projected points. My projected points is really low, so I don't need to overbid because I'm like 4th in the projected points table or something like that. Or I was at the time. I think I was 5th.
You still are, yeah. You still are.
But it's like, all right, yeah. It's like I didn't like.
I projected this first. What?
Hell yeah!
When did that happen?
I don't know. But yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't.
I expect to be first next week after Donkey Kong and Mario give me a 96 easily.
It wasn't a snipe. It was literally just like Moody says Pokemon's coming out this year. Moody's never been wrong about Pokemon. I'm gonna bid for this Pokemon game.
Please be a Legends game. Please be a Legends game. Please be a Legends game instead.
Oh shit! I better get my bids
for
a Legends game.
I'm feeling much better that I didn't necessarily get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, even though I could have with the kind of demand I could put on there, because Elf Daughter is going in with a strong start of -10. I think that kind of quells whatever points Final Fantasy VII is going to bring in.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah.
No, that's it. That'll do it. 389. 390 next week. 11 more weeks, and we'll be doing a 400th episode of this podcast.
Okay, so you did introduce
next week we have 4 games releasing. Sorry for putting in there.
No, I also apologize because you also introduced the podcast as episode 390, so I went in and changed it on the dot.
Did I? Oh,
yeah.
Shit. The problem is...
What are those numbers?
The problem is, and I don't mean this is blame, I just mean this is like we were sat here for half an hour before the podcast started.
Yes.
Take a look at that's a lot of games. Hold on.
It's one of
It
those
is
numbers,
389.
friends.
It is 389. I was right.
Okay, right. I'll change it back. 390 next week, folks.
390 next week.
Put a note next to it. It is 390 now. It's for me to remember.
All right.
Yeah. Next week
Thanks,
we're reviewing Like Dragon Infinite Wealth. Come check it out.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Until then.
Peace out.
Aloha.
Aloha. or like Thingy says.
Aloha.